What's going on, guys? Can you guys hear me all right? See me all right? Let me know. What's going on, Ginge? What's going on, Leonard? What's going on, guys? How are you doing today? See, make sure everything's working all right. Let me know if everything's working all right. Me all right? See me all right? Yep. Yeah, I'm on. Let me know. Can you hear me, my friend? I hope it's working all right. Ginge, let me know in the chat if it's working. Hello? I'm not sure what's going on. Ginge, can you hear me all right? Let me know everything's working fine. I always get worried something's messed up with the audio or video. Let me know. What's going on, Edson? Appreciate you joining me. Let's see. Baz, what's going on? How are you doing tonight? Thanks for joining me. So what do you guys want to talk about tonight? Okay, awesome. Thank you, guys. And I know somebody's going to ask me about Woodley and the YouTuber. Oh my goodness, I definitely don't want to talk about that. So let's talk about something else other than that, please. But Leonard, Ginge, Baz, Edson, thank you guys all for joining me tonight. I said I'm going to try to start doing these more often. So this is going to be like the new thing. At least once a week, I'm going to try to do these live chats with you guys. Did I watch Tough last night? No, I did not. I might check it out. It's on ESPN Plus, I believe, right? Is it any good? I haven't watched Tough in so long because, for me it was like kind of got very very stale. Like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, probably is the last time I watched it, and I just could never get back into it. And not that, not that it really matters all that much about the coaches, but it also kind of pisses me off because now we got to wait so long for Ortega Volkanovski. It's probably not happening until September. It was originally supposed to happen at the end of March. So it kind of just pisses me off about the Ultimate Fighter. But let me know what you think of it if you did watch it, but I did not watch it yet. Baz said, "Who's the hardest hitter at every weight class?" Whew. Let me look up the rankings real quick so I can get a good idea. So let's see. Oh, so it's on Fight Pass too. Okay. Let's see. Hardest hitter at flyweight. I think the hardest hitter at flyweight has to be Devison, but formerly would have been John Lineker back when he tried to make flyweight all the time. But he doesn't fight at flyweight anymore, so let's see. Make sure everything's okay. Okay, so flyweight Devison Figueroa. At bantamweight, I would say probably Cody Garbrandt. At least Cody Garbrandt definitely with the hands. Yeah, I would say Cody Garbrandt. For featherweight, For featherweight, hardest hitter for featherweight, I'll go with somebody not even in the rankings. I'll go with Jeremy Stevens. Because Max Holloway, Volkanovski really isn't it. Maybe Chan Sung Jung or Edson Barboza, but I'd probably say Jeremy Stevens is the hardest hitter at featherweight. For lightweight, whew, I guess it's got to be Justin Gaethje at lightweight. Let's see. At welterweight, who's the hardest hitter at welterweight? It's definitely not Colby. Definitely not Gilbert. Definitely not Leon. Definitely not Wonderboy. Either Masvidal or Vicente Luque, I would say probably Masvidal. But you could also put Kamaru Usman but that's just one knockout, so I really can't go off of that. He knocked one guy out. I know he TKO'd Colby, but I still wouldn't put him in that category. Middleweight, the hardest hitter. A lot. Is everything working again? Is everything working fine again? I don't know what's going on with this stream right now. It's pissing me off. I think I'm reconnected now. Something went funky there. CT says for me it's Figgy, Cody, Emmett, Chandler, Usman or Luque, Cannonier, Blachowicz, and obviously Ngannou. Yeah, I think Ngannou is the easiest one ever. Okay, I don't know what happened there. For some reason, occasionally it'll just randomly disconnect. We didn't have any problems with the last two, so hopefully we don't have any more problems with this one. It says excellent connection. I said Cannonier for middleweight. But thank you for joining me, Yusuf. Thanks for joining me, CT. I wish UFC 263 was this weekend because I'm so looking forward to UFC 263. Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards, Devison versus Brandon Moreno rematch. Then we have the main event, Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori rematch. I'm 90% sure I'm going to go with Adesanya. But can you imagine if Vettori somehow pulls it off? I feel like, he could, somehow rise to the occasion. I don't know. You see certain guys just rise to the occasion and somehow pull off a victory. And I just feel like Marvin Vettori could be that guy. He's a nutcase. And he fought Izzy to a close fight before. But, I'm sorry, I was reading the comment. Edwards' physique doesn't even look real. He looks he's going to fuck Nate Diaz up bad. Oh my goodness, he's going to fuck him up badly. Let's see. I seen a pic of Leon Edwards, and he looked absolutely jacked. Join. Fedori can do it. He had to make an MMA fight, not a kickboxing fight. Yeah, he definitely has to mix. Even if he can't take Adesanya down at will, I think he's got to push him against the cage and grind on him a little bit. Just there we go. Tweeted that out. Is anybody in here picking Vettori to win that fight? I'm genuinely curious. Is everyone picking Adesanya? Or is there anybody that wants to say, I'm going to pick Vettori for this fight? I'm genuinely curious. I haven't seen anybody, not that I've been looking particularly hard, but I've come across some prediction videos earlier. They've done it a couple weeks early, and I haven't seen anybody picking Marvin Vettori. It's hard for me to pick him when he kind of got lit up by Kevin Holland. And if Kevin Holland could have stuffed some takedowns, I feel like he might have been able to beat Vettori. I said Jan Blachowicz for light heavyweight. CT says also, is it just me, Or do you not like Usman's chances at middleweight? It's crazy how we call him a massive welterweight, but thinking about it, he would be a small middleweight. Um, Middleweight's a tough division for Usman. Uh, I don't like his chances at middleweight, really. I could even see him, I'm not going to say I wouldn't. Um, but I might even pick Vittori to beat Usman at middleweight. I just feel like some of those middleweights are just huge. Like Cannonier is ginormous. I mean, maybe if Robert Whitaker was champ, I could see Usman going up to middleweight and potentially being able to compete. I know that sounds crazy. I'm high on Whitaker, but I'm just saying, as far as a smaller middleweight fighter, but we've seen, look at Whitaker and Gastelum. Their size has been a massive disadvantage to them in the division. Whitaker not as much, but Gastelum for sure. I think if Gastelum was bigger, I think, he would have a lot better shot to be the middleweight champion. I mean, he was going to beat Chris Weidman, but the size disadvantage was just too much for him. Maybe when I do my prediction video, I always watch a couple fights, more recent fights, and I try to pick out things that maybe necessarily other people haven't picked out yet. Maybe I'll throw a curveball and I'll pick Vittori in my prediction video. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I don't like Usman. Let me see. I'm gonna go through the middleweight rankings right now. I'm gonna tell you who would I pick Usman against. I would not pick him to beat Adesanya. I don't think I'd pick him to beat Robert Whitaker. I don't think I'd pick him to beat Paulo Costa. Maybe Marvin Vettori, but I'm not sure. Maybe Jarrett Cannonier. Probably would pick him to beat Derek Brunson. Probably would pick him to beat Jack Hermanson. And probably would pick him to beat Darren Till. Definitely pick him to beat Uriah Hall. And would pick him to beat Gastelum as well. What else was I going to say there? I'm trying to think. But I don't think Usman's ever going to go up to middleweight, honestly. I just don't feel like he wants to. Baz94. Okay, let's do another one. Most awkward fighter to fight in every weight class. Men's all the way to the women's division. All right, let me take a look. That's a hard one. Most awkward fighter. I don't know about flyweight. I don't really feel like there's any super awkward fighters there. Let's go bantam. I'll start at bantamweight. I'll skip flyweight because I don't know. Maybe Tim Elliott at flyweight. Yeah, it would have to be Tim Elliott for sure. Do you guys remember when Tim Elliott fought Joseph Benavidez in in like 2013, 2014? And remember, Benavidez had like a mounted guillotine, and he had both of Elliott's arms trapped, and he tapped with his feet. Does anybody else remember that? So I go Tim Elliott at flyweight. At bantamweight, I definitely say Corey Sandhagen. At featherweight, I don't really know if there is an awkward fighter at featherweight. Maybe Giga Chikaze. Maybe I don't know. There's really not an awkward fight at featherweight. Lightweight, definitely Tony Ferguson is the most awkward. Welterweight, I would say I don't feel like there's a really awkward, a lot. Probably Colby. I know that sounds crazy, but he's awkward. His striking is super awkward. At middleweight, most awkward at middleweight. I'd probably go maybe Sean Strickland. That one's a hard one. Or Derek Brunson. Yeah, also Zabit is definitely weird at featherweight as well. I forgot about him. I kind of counted him out because I'm kind of looking at the rankings for reference because it's hard to go off the top of my head sometimes. Light heavyweight, I think we all know who's the most awkward at light heavyweight. Yuri Prohaska. At heavyweight, most awkward would have to be probably Augusto Sakai, who's fighting this weekend. Actually, I would say he's kind of awkward. some of these guys I can barely remember. Like I can barely remember Chris Dawkins. Maybe Bagoy Ivanov, maybe. Women's division. Let's go most awkward in the women's division. I don't feel like any of these girls are super awkward. Uh, yeah, I don't feel like there's any woman in the strawweight division awkward. Flyweight division. Uh, Roxanne Modafferi and women's bantamweight. That one's hard too. I'll say I don't really have one at women's bantamweight, and obviously women's featherweight has to be Amanda Nunes. Um, uh, let's see what else we got in here. Now I gotta go back up. No, I think Izzy, but the way this year has gone, it won't even surprise me if Vettori does it. Yeah, I'm telling you, something in me is just thinking, you know, he could rise. He could be one of those fighters that rise to the occasion, that nobody gives a chance, and he rises to the occasion. I think Usman has no chance against Rob. He's the perfect style and also size difference. I respect it. Devin Moose, never seen you here before, but thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it. I don't think Justin Gaethje versus Chandler makes the most sense. I would rather see Chandler versus Tony. I don't want to see Chandler versus Tony because I wouldn't mind it, but I want to see Tony in a very manageable fight, and Chandler's a really tough fight, and I just want to see Tony get a win. Maybe it's just me that's biased. Did I miss something? Okay, I see. I see you, Baz. I already went through the awkward. I must have been talking about something else. Um, Let Tony and Chandler fight. Gaethje gets Charles. The winner of Dustin and Connor gets the winner of Justin and Charles. It makes the most sense. If I was running the lightweight division right now, I would probably, and you guys are gonna hate me for this because just because I feel like this is the most deserving fight, I would probably do Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush for the title. I know, kill me. I know you guys don't want to see that all that much. Then I would do Justin Gaethje versus the winner of Connor and Dustin, and then the winner of Justin versus Connor and Dustin would be next in line for the belt. So if Connor beat Dustin and then beat Justin Gaethje, he would get the winner. Or you could do, and I wouldn't mind this either. Give me Justin versus, no, yeah, give me Gaethje versus Chandler, right? Because I love Gaethje versus Chandler. Do Gaethje versus Chandler, uh, Dustin versus, or wait, Gaethje versus Chandler. Well, let me start over again because I don't want to be too confused. Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush for the title, right? Then obviously you have Connor versus Dustin. The winner of Connor versus Dustin fights the winner of Justin versus Chandler. So let's say Justin Gaethje beats Chandler, he fights the winner of Dustin versus Connor. Then the winner of that fight would fight for the belt next after Oliveira and Dariush. So you'd basically have like a six-man tournament. You'd have Beneil Dariush versus Charles Oliveira for the belt. You would have Justin Gaethje versus Chandler. Then you would have Connor versus Dustin, and you would match those two up, almost like a little mini tournament. Um, but I get what you're saying. I wouldn't mind Justin getting I wouldn't mind Justin getting a title shot, but it's kind of hard because he's coming off a loss. Let's see what else we got. Michelle Pereira has a very weird style. A very agreed. Yeah, Justin could fight RDA. I wanted to see Chandler debut against RDA, honestly. I thought RDA would be a good test for him. Yeah, Aljamain Sterling does have a pretty weird style, you're right. I just feel like Corey Sandhagen's a little bit weirder. Um, um, Justin doesn't need a win. Lamau, the last fight he lost was to the former champ. Now the champ is retired, so he's still ranked 1 or 2. I can't remember. I wouldn't hate him getting a title shot, but again, I wouldn't also mind seeing him win a fight. And I know people are going to hate it, but Beneil Dariush is arguably the most deserving right now. Let's see. Who has the best chin in each division? For me, it's Figgy, Yan, Max, Gaethje, Usman, or Luque. Kelvin Gastelum, Blachowicz, and once again, obviously, Ngannou. Let me take a look. Figueroa for sure. Then I would say Peter Yan. Then I would probably say either Max or Volkanovski. Both of them has taken big shots. At lightweight, it would probably be. I know what you mean by Gaethje, but I don't know. I would probably say Tony. I know that sounds crazy, but look at those shots he took from Gaethje. And a lot of the other guys haven't really eaten too many shots, and I know I don't, probably then Usman or Luque probably I would agree with. But none of these guys are really eating too many shots. I definitely wouldn't say Burns because he got hurt by a jab. You could maybe say Leon Edwards, but we haven't really seen him absorb any damage. For middleweight, who has the best chin? It's definitely not going to be Paulo Costa. Maybe Jared Cannonier. There's so many good options for this one, but Kelvin Gastelum has an amazing chin as well. For light heavyweight, I'd probably go Jan Blachowicz, and for heavyweight, I would go Ngannou as well, and then Amanda Nunes, probably Rose and Valentina, but a lot of them don't even get hit. No, he does. He does. You can't get another title shot after getting destroyed. I respect that opinion definitely. Justin and Chandler could be big stars. You don't want them fighting without a title involved. It would be too big. I think it's fine to fight them, without a title involved. I mean, these guys need to earn their shots. I'm always about the merit, so that's why, and I know it's not going to be a popular opinion, but Beneil Dariush really should be next in line. Not really. They could be known to the casuals, but I don't think Chandler will ever get a belt. Yeah, it all depends. Kevin Weeks, what's going on, man? Dustin is the most deserving, but he took the counter fight instead. That's why I say Justin. Dariush hasn't fought that many high-level guys besides Tony, and that was Tony after Justin destroyed his soul. True, but he's on a nice little win streak, He's on a nice little win streak. So, it's hard for me to turn Beneil down. Let me see. Did I miss something? Dustin is the most deserving, but he took Connor fighting. Okay, I already read that. I'm doing good. Okay, you guys. Gaslam has the best chin. Yeah, Gaslam does have a great chin. Hey, do me a favor, everybody. Make sure to like the stream. Do me that favor real quick. If you're in here, make sure you go like the stream. Baz94 says, "Who is the BMF in every division?" I don't really like the BMF thing. For me, the BMF in every division is the champion. Except one exception. It's Peter Yan at bantamweight instead of Aljamain Sterling. So Peter Yan is the bantamweight BMF. I don't really believe in all that. I think it's a made up title for journeyman kind of. It was fun one time. I was there live. I went to Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal for the BMF belt. It was a great time. It was fun. I thought it was fun, but it's kind of a slippery slope, and it's really a meaningless belt. I mean, is Jorge Masvidal going to parade around with that BMF belt for the rest of his life? And afterwards he got dominated by Usman, and then he got KO'd by Usman. So he lost back to back. So I don't know what the qualifications are for BMF, because for me the BMF is the best fighter in every division. So, unless you give me some other qualification of what it is, then it's hard for me to pick somebody out. Oh, I know Beneil Dariush doesn't have a great resume, man. I know that. But I'm just saying he's kind of most deserving right now. I wouldn't even mind seeing him fight somebody else. And I don't think he's going to get a title shot anyway. And I don't think at lightweight right now, it's the same at welterweight for me. I don't think there's an open and shut case for any one fighter to get the title shot right now. Like, I don't think there's anybody who you can point to and say that guy definitely deserves the next title shot. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Devin Moose, are you a subscriber, man? This is the first time I've seen your name, so thank you for joining the live chat. I'm going to try to do a live chat at least once a week from here on out, so hope to see you in the future. But I see what you mean. I know what you mean about Dariush. The resume is a lot lacking. And also, Baz, you're right. Beneil doesn't sell. But for me personally, as a fan, I like to balance it. And I like to have the most deserving, as far as merits, regardless of selling power, fight for the belt. I think if Dustin wins, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was excluding Dustin because he has a fight. But yes, Dustin is an open and shut case, deserves it. But that's only if he beats Conor in his next fight, which is only 6 weeks away, ironically enough. Devin Moose said, I subscribed after the Fabia video. Which one did you happen to see? I'm curious. A lot of people subscribed after the Fabia video. My channel is officially 2 months old today, and I'm at 729 subscribers. So if anybody, you got any friends that like MMA, tell them to send them my channel link and tell them to go subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Let me see how many I'm at right now. I am at 729 right now. 729 subscribers. Dariush KO'd the man with the greatest chin we've ever seen, James Vick. That's enough for a title shot. That's hilarious. James Vick. Do you guys, let me know in the chat right now, do you guys remember when James Vick was scheduled to fight Gaethje? And he was talking all that shit, how Gaethje doesn't have a chin, and he's going to destroy Gaethje. Gaethje was fighting in the B leagues against all these scrubs, and now he's in the UFC and he's going to get worked over. And Gaethje just went out there and put him to sleep. And James Vick, he's no longer in the UFC, but his last few fights, he got absolutely demolished. I remember that Nico Price up kick. Let me look up his resume right now, matter of fact. But he was brutally KO'd. And it was kind of sad what happened to him. Yeah, he lost 5 fights in a row. And 4 out of the 5, he got KO'd or TKO'd. Only one decision loss in all those. So James Vick got his soul stolen. And I believe his first loss was Justin Gaethje. Yep. So Justin Gaethje KO'd him in the first round. Then he goes on to lose to Paul Felder, Dan Hooker by KO, Nico Price by KO. And then he got cut from the UFC, went over to MMA, which I'm not even familiar with, and lost via TKO. Gaethje took his soul. I remember that, but for a second I thought CT was being... Yeah, that's hilarious. I knew he was kidding. Dariush hasn't gotten that star quality. Without a doubt, Dariush is never going to be a star. Good morning, bro. What's up, man? My friend from Kuwait. What's going on, man? I just remembered they're in the works for Colby versus Usman 2 in September. I have a sneaking suspicion. Maybe that fight will happen. Dana White said it's going to happen, but I have a hard time believing Dana White's whatever he says. It seems like the opposite happens. And I could see Leon Edwards or Nate Diaz stealing that title shot. As much as I hate to say it. I wish Leon and Colby were fighting instead, because then we could get a bona fide number 1 contender. But right now, there's nobody at welterweight that deserves an unquestioned title shot. I mean, Leon Edwards is on a massive streak, but he hasn't beaten anyone. Colby just got finished by the champion 1 fight ago, and then he beat an aging Tyron Woodley to get the next title shot if, he's refusing to fight again. Wonder Boy, if he beats Burns, I think is probably the most deserving. Or Burns, if he beats Wonder Boy, would probably be the most disturbing. But it's such a weird predicament with welterweight right now. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to say Kamaru Usman's ducking him, and I've had people say that in some of the comments of my videos that I've made. But I think Usman just doesn't like the guy. And, he's going to say, well, I've been so active. I fought all these fights since we last fought. I think Usman's fought 3 times since he fought Colby. And, in his mind, he say, Colby will go fight somebody else. And realistically, Usman's been super active. He fought in February, then he fought in April. If he wants to, he can sit out till the end of the year or early next year and the UFC isn't going to complain. So unless Colby wants to sit out for a full year and a half, uh, he doesn't really get a say. Go fight someone else. I would love to see, and I've said this before, once Leon beats Nate, give me Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards in the summer. And maybe if Leon wins that, we give him a title shot. But it's also hard to, Wonderboy's fighting Burns, and if Wonderboy beats Burns, it's hard to say he doesn't deserve a title shot either. But I don't think the UFC is going to want to give Wonderboy a title shot. I have a feeling. Wait a second, CT. Wonderboy versus Burns isn't the co-main. What is the co-main event then? Maybe they just don't have the bout order in order yet. Because I don't feel... No, it's got to be the co-main event. There's no way it's not the co-main event. And also, I would love to see that be a 5-rounder. I know the UFC now is making, non-title fights, non-main events 5 rounds. I think that... I think Burns versus Wonderboy needs to be 5 rounds. Below the Clouds, thank you for joining us tonight. Usman has been extremely active champ. Exactly. If he wants to sit out for a while, he can sit out for a while. Let's see. Baz said, I lost all hope for me liking Beneil when he called out the Tesla guy. Yeah. I don't know, man. I like Beneil's skill set, but I just don't see him. I don't know if he can beat Oliveira. I don't know if he can beat a lot of the top guys. But he's getting there. Let him fight Gaethje. Screw it. Did Gaethje versus Chandler get made? No, that's not official yet. But whenever I make these live chats, I just put whatever kind of is the current topics going on and just kind of wing the title a little bit, just to put interesting things in there. And then we'll talk about, we talked about Gaethje versus Chandler for a little bit already. We talked about UFC 263 already. Another fight I wanted to talk about is who do you guys would think would win if Islam Makhachev fought Charles Oliveira? Who would you guys predict to win that fight? Because that would be a very interesting fight, in my opinion. Look it up on the UFC thingy. It's not the co-main, which makes no sense. I think the co-main should be 4 rounds. Is that just me? Now, I hope you meant 5 rounds. Because 4 rounds, if it goes to decision, you could give each guy 2 rounds. That's why it's an odd number of rounds. Oliveira going to... Sometimes, CT, and I could be wrong on this, sometimes the UFC has the bout order out of order, and like a couple weeks before the fight card, they finalize the bout order. So my guess is Burns versus Wonderboy will be co-main event unless they find something better. Oliveira going to be tough to beat, very technical striking. No one wants to go to the ground with him. Yeah, but if you have enough defensive jiu-jitsu and you can take him down and ground and pound him, I think Islam could possibly beat him. I think Khabib would be able to take Oliveira down as long as he stayed out of those submissions. Easier said than done. I think he could ground and pound him and beat him. But who knows? That's why I wish Islam was fighting somebody really notable next, and if he got a win, we could see him fight for the title. And I know Islam gets a lot of hype just because he trains with Khabib, but I'd still like to see the fight. The Burns versus Thompson fight is exciting. I haven't heard about that yet. Thompson will dismantle him. I would love to see Thompson fight Usman. He won't win, but it could be very cool to see. I would love to see Wonderboy versus Usman. That'd be a fight that I would love to see. I actually was a while ago was saying I wanted to see Wonderboy versus Colby, because if Wonderboy could beat Colby, the matchup of Wonderboy versus Usman would be that much more exciting. Because if you could keep Colby off of him, we would see, Usman's a very similar style. I think Oliveira might have the sharper striking. Agreed. But I think Islam might be able to take him down and beat him up. But he's got to avoid those submissions. Khabib destroys Charles hands down. I would pick Khabib, but I would love to see that fight. That's actually one of my dream fights. Even before Oliveira won the belt, I was telling people that I really wanted to see Khabib versus Oliveira. I think Gaethje could beat Olives, but if he hits the ground, it's over because Gaethje has no ground game. Yeah, Gaethje has no jiu-jitsu. What Khabib did to him was nasty. But obviously Oliveira's takedowns are nowhere near as good as Khabib's. So I think Gaethje could go out there and wreck Oliveira. And Gaethje's just an absolute madman. So I think Gaethje could beat him. If I had to pick one fighter right now to have the best chance of beating Oliveira, I'd probably go Gaethje. Um, let's see. Which would sell more, Dustin versus Gaethje 2 or Tony versus Jorge at welterweight? Tony versus Jorge, just because Jorge Masvidal became a massive star. Um, Khabib's smothering style is too much for anyone. Yeah, I think he would probably finish Oliveira with ground and pound on the ground if I had to nail down a prediction. Yusuf says, Joey, who's your pick between Nunes versus Shevchenko 3? I'd probably go Shevchenko. Tony versus George for sure. Yeah, yep, I agree with you. George is just too big of a draw. I think if Conor loses to Dustin in this rematch or this trilogy, I think Conor goes on to fight Nate Diaz or Jorge Masvidal next. Mark that down. You heard that here first. Conor will fight Jorge Masvidal or Nate Diaz next, without a doubt, if he does lose to Dustin. Now, if he beats Dustin, he's fighting Charles Oliveira next. And then once I don't think Conor ever defends a belt no matter what. Even if he goes out and beats Charles Oliveira, I don't think, he's going to ever defend a belt. He's going to try to, I want to go to welterweight. Oh my, if Jorge Masvidal would have won a welterweight belt, Conor would have been fighting for the welterweight belt if he beats Dustin in the trilogy. What do you think would do more pay-per-views? I'm assuming you meant pay-per-view buys. Yeah. Khabib versus Conor 2 or Conor versus Jorge? That's a tough one, man. Usually I feel like I would have a good answer for you, but I'm going to say Khabib versus Conor 2. But I think it's very, very close. Conor versus Jorge would be huge. But just the bad blood and animosity between Khabib and Conor wanting to get that one back, I think Khabib fight would be way bigger. And just Khabib's legacy of undefeated. I said before, I think I said it on this channel, that if I was Khabib, Khabib hates Conor. He doesn't even like to mention him. I would come out, because Conor wants that. Conor's a little baby. He wants a rematch no matter what when he loses. And if I was Khabib, if I hate Conor, I would say, look, I'm never fighting again. But I will come back for one reason and one reason only. McGregor, if you fight Islam Makhachev and you beat him, I will come back and give you a rematch. And the reason I say that is because Khabib probably favors Islam to beat McGregor, and he would get one of his teammates one of the biggest fights ever. And then if his teammates wins, his teammate would be compelled, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. His teammate would become a massive superstar. So it's a win-win. And even if somehow Conor beats him, then you go back and you get a massive rematch. Justin would kill Charles. He hits hard. Those leg kicks will make it that much harder for Charles to take him down. I like Gaethje's chances, but I'd probably pick Oliveira. It would be a close fight, and I think Gaethje would do well in it. But if he gets taken down, he's getting submitted immediately. I can see McGregor facing RDA in the future. I doubt it ever happens, to be honest. What would be the incentive? Conor's never going to defend a belt. Conor's never going to look to earn a belt. I just don't see Conor fighting very many more fights. I think after this Dustin fight, if he loses, I think he fights probably one or two more times. Do me a favor, guys. Make sure to like the stream if you haven't already. Just click the like button for me. I appreciate it. I like that deal for Islam, though. That would be a great deal for him. And if I was Khabib, I would do it because you get your teammate a massive fight. And then on top of that, worst case scenario, you go and fight a guy you already beat. The UFC won't do McGregor versus Makhachev. They would if Khabib said he would come back if they fought and he beat him. But I think Islam is a nightmare matchup for a lot of guys in the division. It's crazy. If you notice, middleweight has no heavy wrestlers like that, really. Welterweight has a couple. Lightweight did have a couple when Khabib was around. You have Makhachev, Gillespie, Khabib at the time. But middleweight doesn't have any of those top-heavy, grinding wrestlers like they used to. It used to be Weidman, Rockhold. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but a lot of guys that would just take you down and lay on you and really grind you out. But right now they don't have a lot of them. I think Conor jumps on the boxing at Paul brother bandwagon if he loses to Dustin. I would not be surprised if we see Conor McGregor in a freak show. I think Conor McGregor's time has passed, and I was never a big believer in him anyway, to be honest. I've talked about it on this channel before, and maybe I'm just a hater, but his resume doesn't speak a lot to me. His best win is Eddie Alvarez, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing I can take away from him on that. But for me, it's just not. It's not all that great. He beat Chad Mendes. Chad Mendes came in on a week's notice. He lost to Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, you can say what you want about him, but he's a journeyman. I love Nate Diaz myself. I picked Nate Diaz to win both those fights, by the way. I even picked him in the first fight, and I even said second round rear naked choke. So, it is what it is. But a lot of people are super high on Conor, but he hasn't won a lightweight fight since 2016. He has not won every time I say that, I have to think about it for a second. Like, is that the truth or no? He has not won a lightweight fight since 2016. Game I heard. What's cooking? Good looking. What's going on? Thank you for joining us tonight. Make sure you like the stream and make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. I haven't seen your name before, so I don't know if you're subscribed or not. 145, Conor was a monster. His best win by far was Jose Aldo. Yeah, that was a massive win, but also, and I know I'm going to get hate for this, but it was kind of fluky. You know what I mean? He was a great punch. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but I would have liked to see the fight play out a little more. Jose Aldo landed a massive left hand in that first exchange as well. Imagine had the roles been reversed and Jose Aldo was the one that put him off. My friend, I actually convinced one of my friends to bet on Miesha Tate and Nate Diaz, and they won something like $3,000 that night of UFC 196. I'll never forget that because they bet on Miesha, they won that bet, and they took the winnings and betted on Nate Diaz, and they won like a couple thousand that night. Colby has the worst resume in his rematching Usman. Yeah, he has a terrible resume. Yusuf, I don't know if you may have commented, or I don't remember at this point. Did you see my video about Colby Covington is like Alexander Gustafsson? So I'm not. Yusuf, you're misunderstanding me a little bit. I mean, I don't mean it was fluky, as in he was so lucky. It was just that doesn't happen every single time. So, like, I would have liked to see the fight play out a little more. That's all I'm saying. I can't really take it away from him, but you get what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you think Stipe should have a title shot? Do you think Stipe should have a title shot without fighting if Francis beats Lewis next? No, I think he should have to fight one fight. You don't just get flatlined like that and then get an immediate rematch. I say fight one more time, but I wouldn't have a massive gripe if he did get it. But it's hard to say for me. So, yes, I think he should fight, but I wouldn't have a massive problem if he doesn't fight. Best wrestlers in each division: Askarov, Yan, Umar Nurmagomedov, or Merab Dvalishvili, Volkanovski, Chandler, or Makhachev, Usman, Weidman, Ankalaev, Blades. Woo! Let's see. Yes, Askarov. Bantamweight, I'd say Peter Yan. Featherweight is a tough one. Probably Volkanovski. Has to be Volkanovski. Lightweight, I would say Islam Makhachev or Gregor Gillespie for lightweight. Welterweight, Usman. Middleweight, there's really no wrestler. I'll go Derek Brunson. Light heavyweight, I'll go Glover Teixeira. He has good takedowns. I don't know. Heavyweight, I'll say, who do I want to pick for heavyweight? I'd probably go with Blades as well. Blades. I don't know why I keep saying Blades. Sometimes I read it like that. I'd probably go Curtis Blades as well. I was thinking about it. I'm not a betting man, but somebody told me that the odds for Saturday of Jairzinho Rozenstruik by submission are bet $100 to win like $2,000. And I was thinking about taking that bet. What do you guys think of the chances of that are? Is that a bet worth taking? CT, I agree with you 100%. Yan is next level as far as a wrestler goes. What he did to Aljamain Sterling was absolutely dominant. Let's lean in a little bit. You have Yan over Said and Frankie? What do you mean? I don't understand the question, Devin. I'm sorry. Said. Am I missing something here? I don't know what we're talking about here. Yusuf says, don't bet that. I know it's not very likely, but for the odds to win a couple thousand, I feel like, hear me out, and I want you guys to remember this if it happens by some chance. I already did my prediction video. I think Jairzinho, Rosenstrike, I think I said second round TKO. But Augusto Sakai is so tough, but I think Jairzinho is the better striker. I could see him rocking him and then, trying to finish him, and then maybe grabbing a submission. For those massive odds, and I'm not too much, I don't ever want my channel to be, a channel that just talks about MMA betting, because I'm not into betting too much. But one of my friends told me about those odds, and I thought it was very interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll put $50 on it just for shits and giggles. But I'm never going to be one of those MMA channels that talks about betting. I don't like, guys that just talk about odds and, oh, this is a great play. And that's, for me personally as a fan, I don't even watch those channels that talk about nothing but MMA betting. I like to talk about it from an analysis point of view. And, looking at resumes and looking at skill sets and trying to debate who's going to win, not, talking about all them different odds and that. Looks like everyone's saying that. Jin says, don't bet that. It's not going to happen. I forgot Frankie. I think Frankie would get ragdolled by Peter Yan. Sedner Magomedov, he looks good, but he hasn't fought too many. We haven't seen him against some more elite guys. Call me crazy, but I feel Luque gets a top 5 win in a title shot. I think he could beat Usman. I think Luque could be a tailor-made matchup to beat Usman, really. I agree with you. I wouldn't pick him most likely. We'd have to wait to see when we got to that. But I would love to see that fight. I think Luque's a lot better than people think. And I think he kind of got the shitty end of the stick by having to fight Wonderboy. Because Wonderboy's filthy. But that first round against Wonderboy was super competitive. Yeah, but I would love to see Luque versus Usman. If they announced Luque versus Usman right now, you would have no complaints from me. And that's something Usman would do. Usman's been super active. Imagine if Usman took another fight over the summer against Luque. Guys, do me a favor. It says there's 14 people in here right now, and there's only 8 likes. Please like the live stream. I appreciate it. It helps my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of June. So, help me out, okay? Joey, who's the most skilled fighters today? Power not included. I'm trying to figure out exactly what you mean. If you subtract power from their skill set, who is the most skilled? Definitely take Ngannou off the list. His power is his main strength. I wouldn't. He would not be champion without his power. Jan Blachowicz, I think so. Light heavyweight if you subtract power, right now one of the best fighters in my eyes would be Alexander Rakic. I think Israel Adesanya is more accuracy than power, so I'll still say Adesanya is the best at middleweight. Usman really hasn't showed all that much power. I know he knocked out Jorge in the last fight, but I think he's one of the most skilled, even if he didn't have power. Same with Oliveira. I don't think Oliveira needs power. Volkanovski, same thing. Same thing with Peter Yan. Maybe not Devison, though. I think Devison without power would run into some serious problems. I think his power is game changing for a lot of guys. I remember seeing this earlier, but I forgot to mention it. Apparently, the UFC is thinking about adding health benefits. I did see someone say that in the chat, and I just remembered I forgot to mention it. Best wrestler in the light heavyweight division is Ankalaev. I think it's Magomed Ankalaev. Maybe so. Luque is good, but I don't see him beating Usman. He hasn't had a lot of big fights. One of the more recent fights was nobody from Texas in his 30s, who has fought a lot, but not anybody big. Yeah, I know what you mean, but Luque just looks so good and is stylistic. I would pick Usman to beat him, but I would love to see that fight. Yeah, so Yusuf, I pretty much answered your question there. And Kevin Weeks was the one that said the thing about the healthcare. That'd be awesome. I think the UFC should do that. I think I did see something about that. I thought about making a video on it, but I end up not doing it. I might make a video after I do this live chat on something. I have a couple video ideas I've been meaning to do, but Usman's Jorge Masvidal knockout was George acting stupid and Usman throwing wild overhands. Well, he still knocked him out, so that's Masvidal's fault. He should have kept those hands up. What a brutal KO, too. It looked like Masvidal got his neck snapped. What an absolute masterful KO. I couldn't believe it. I did not see that happening at all. I know Woodley wasn't his prime, but looks at what he did to Woodley. No one in the past, I don't know how many years, has done that to Woodley. Yeah, I actually was obviously I didn't have a channel back then, but I was a big believer in Usman. And there was very few people picking Usman to beat Woodley. There was people even saying that Usman didn't deserve the title shot. I picked Usman, and I thought Usman was going to win by a dominant decision. And I wish I had a YouTube channel then so you guys would believe me. But I picked Usman to win that fight, and he won exactly how I thought. I was a little bit more dominant than I anticipated, but I thought Usman. I was one of the very few people picking Usman to win that fight. Let me actually see something real quick. See if I can find it. I know Masvidal ate his words for sure. He was saying how he had nothing to fear, that Usman had pillow punches basically, and that he couldn't knock anybody out, and he was the softest puncher he ever fought. And then to get slept like that, Masvidal will never fight for a title again. Yeah, Masvidal looked good in the first round. But that's what happens when you get overconfident. Look what happened to Luke Rockhold versus Michael Bisping. So what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think Jon Jones will fight this year or not? I really want to see Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou. I want to see it so badly. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I have a feeling, though, there's a chance. It's the biggest fight the UFC can make right now. And there's a reason that Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou is not official yet. There's been a lot of talk on when it'll be. There's been a lot of talk. Dana White says Derek Lewis is next in line. But there's a reason it hasn't been announced yet. And I think maybe, just maybe, Jon Jones with his new management could sneak in and get that title shot against Francis Ngannou. And I would love to see that fight. I might even, depending on where it's at, I would probably even consider buying tickets to go see Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones. That'd be such a big fight. I don't think Jones will fight until late next year or early 2023. That'll be a travesty for him to sit out all that time. I want to see him in there fighting. Right before he started sitting out, remember, he was being super active. One thing you guys don't realize, doing these live chats versus doing videos, talking for an hour, 2 hours, your mouth starts to get dry throughout. Especially when you're not used to talking for 2 hours straight. I would love to see it as well. It's the biggest fight the UFC can make. Exactly. And that's why I think Dana has to try to make it. would make them the most money. I mean, it would do substantially better than Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. Substantially better. So somehow figure out a way to make it happen. I think the UFC has to make it happen. Let's see. I want to see Jones versus Stipe. Stipe is smaller heavyweight and would be big enough to justify a main co-main. He needs something to get used to the weight. Otherwise, Francis kills him easily. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but if Jones is going to move up to heavyweight, I just want to see him fight at the heavyweight champion immediately. But I wouldn't mind seeing him against any heavyweight. Could you imagine John Jones versus Derek Lewis? That would be a lot of fun, too. Derek Lewis is such a weird fighter because his skill set is very odd. It's just based on his power, basically. And it'd be fun to watch him versus John Jones as Jones' heavyweight debut. I know, Yusuf, Dana White confirmed Lewis is next, but it's not official. And we've seen him plenty of times before the Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad. Leon Edwards is definitely next. We've seen it a million times. Dana says one thing and then something else happens. If they promote Jones versus Ngannou the right way, it breaks millions of pay-per-views easily. Without a doubt. That fight would be gigantic. It would make up for all the years that they missed, big fights like GSP versus Anderson Silva or John Jones versus Anderson Silva at one point in time people wanted to see. It's crazy. Now Jones is the old guy. I feel like Cyril Gane could beat John Jones. And Gane is scary, man. His size with his movement and his speed, that is not something anyone would want to fight. I'm a big believer on Cyril Gane. I'm a big believer in Cyril Gane. I think he has a great skill set for heavyweight. I've been keeping my eye on him since he debuted. He's got your perfect, heavyweight style that I thought would always be successful at heavyweight. He's not too big. He's got a nice speed. He's super technical, but he has knockout power as well. He's not super oversized or anything. I think, I think he has a good chance of even beating anyone at heavyweight, to be honest. Speaking of Alex Gustafsson, he beat both Teixeira and Blachowicz. Do you think he should drop back down to get that light heavyweight title? Definitely. But isn't he retired at this point? I might be confused. Gustafsson's retired a couple times. Conor versus Diego Sanchez does more pay-per-view buys. No, I don't think so. I don't want to see that fight. Conor should be embarrassed. I don't know how you can be a Conor fan after Conor's calling out Diego Sanchez. No, Gus isn't the same at all. Yin would probably KO him now. Gus has taken a lot of wear and tear over his career, so I wouldn't doubt. And Yin's got some filthy power. So, but I'd like to see it. I mean, he has a win over both the guys fighting for the title. I just don't like Gus's chances against Yuri or Rockage more specifically. But I'd love to see Gus back in the mix at light heavyweight, especially with Jones gone. He fought Werdum. Yeah, he got submitted by Werdum. He was looking good up until that point. And to be honest, it's weird how Werdum won that fight and left and went to another organization. I swear Werdum was cheating the whole time. Cyril Gane has really good wrestling and grappling as well, so he's very well rounded. Yeah, he has great submission skills too. We just got to see him against more elite competition, but there's not very much of it at heavyweight, so I'm not really excited to watch Sakai versus Rosenstrike this weekend at all. It is what it is. It might be an okay fight, but I'm not super excited for it. I don't think anybody really is. I did a prediction video, even though I didn't really want to, but I wanted to keep doing prediction videos for all the main events, but you can tell people aren't even interested in it. It didn't even do any views at all. Nobody watched that prediction video, I don't think. But I'd love to see. I think Cyril Gane's one fight away from a title shot potentially. Give me Cyril Gane versus Stipe Miocic. I'd love to see that fight. Winner gets the next title shot. Yeah, yep. Game versus Volkov. Yeah, I forgot that was this month. I'm super excited for that. I think Game beats Volkov, but it's a very interesting matchup. And I hope Game shows some more, aggressiveness. I feel like he was so content just picking Jarzino apart from the outside. He never really went for the kill, and I felt like he could have finished him, but he never really went for it. So I hope when he fights Volkov, I hope he really goes for it. Isn't it crazy? The heavyweight division is so different now. You have no Alistair Overeem, you have no Junior Dos Santos, you have no Cain Velasquez, you have no Daniel Cormier. The heavyweight division has changed a lot, and it was never very good. It's terrible right now. I mean, Francis Ngannou is obviously great, but it's wild. It's wild. Isn't it wild that Stipe Miocic has a loss to Stefan Struve? That's wild to me. Um, oh, and everyone forgot about the Korean Zombie versus Dan Ige. Yeah, that's a banger. You're right. That is a banger, my friend. I can't wait for that fight. Dan Ige, whew, that's a tough test for him, but I think he can probably win that fight. I'm a big believer in Korean Zombie, but he gets a little bit too sloppy. So Dan Ige's got speed and power. So Stipe should fight Curtis Blades. Both are in the top 5 and don't have a fight lined up. I could see that, or let Stipe fight the winner of Gain versus Volkov. Heavyweight got rid of the old guys. The new guys have cleaned out the old. Yeah, but the heavyweight division is so bad right now. There's nobody there. You have Ngannou, Stipe, and Cyril Gain. I don't, I don't know if Volkov will ever even touch a title shot. Maybe with the shallowness of the division, but it's just crazy how a lot of these staples that were there. Who would imagine a UFC heavyweight division without Alistair, without JDS, without Werdum, without Kane? Who does Font face next? I don't know. Font's in a very bad predicament because he's borderline number one contender. Uh, but you got to wait for Peter Yan to fight Aljamain Sterling, and you got Corey Sandhagen fighting T.J. Dillashaw next. I guess you could do Jose Aldo versus Rob Font next, but doesn't Jose Aldo have a fight? Ain't he fighting Mark Munoz? Ortega versus Alexander is what I'm most excited for. I'm excited for that fight too, but it sucks because the Ultimate Fighter is going to push it back to like September, October. So that sucks pretty badly. I wish it was happening sooner. It was supposed to happen at the end of March, and now it's not happening, which is super annoying. Super, super annoying. We're going to have to wait for it. I think it's going to end up being UFC 266 would be my guess. We'll see. It'll be Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira co-main event. Ortega versus Volkanovski, because Ortega versus Volkanovski probably isn't going to be the headliner of a pay-per-view. I think we all know that. Blades and Stipe need to take time off. They got brutally knocked out, and they need at least 9 months off or whatever, because they were not average KOs. They were career-changing type KOs. They were brutal KOs. That uppercut from Derek Lewis was the touch of death that Joshua Fabia is talking about. Blades and Stipe can fight at the end of the year. I wouldn't mind that. I would love to see, now that we've talked about it a little bit, I would love to see Cyril Gain versus Stipe Miocic. If he can get by Volkov, I think that'd be a very fun fight. It's just crazy what's going on at the heavyweight division. I just want to, I hoping, I hope Ngannou's champion for a while because Ngannou's going to be a very fun champion. Can you imagine he's just going out and KOing guys left and right? I like doing this like every chat pretty much now. I've only done a couple of these live chats. But do me a favor, everybody who's listening right now, put where you're watching from in the chat. I'm curious where everyone's watching from. It's always interesting to me that there's people watching all over the world. And it's just wild to me. So please do that. Even if I've already seen it before, just put where you're watching from in the chat. That would be awesome. And I appreciate all you guys joining me for these chats. If you guys keep joining me for these chats, I'm going to do them more often and more often. If this is something you guys like, I'll try to do it at least once a week, if not more. Last week I started doing them, and I did it Friday and Saturday. So, Joshua Fabia versus Ngannou is the fight to make. I would love to see that fight. That fight would be a lot of fun. St. Louis, Missouri, Canada. Let's see where else. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Houston, Texas, Las Vegas. Ginger's in Las Vegas now? What the hell? It's just awesome. It's just crazy knowing people from all over the world are watching these. Whether it be, over in the UK or in Canada or Houston, Texas or St. Louis, Missouri. It's just crazy that there's people from all over the place. I think the furthest person is probably in Kuwait. He doesn't have a name. He just has some Arabic, I think, is squiggly lines. I can't read it. But he watches the live chats too. So I think that's probably the furthest away, Kuwait. But it's just crazy to me. I'm assuming Ginger's just fucking around. Because I think he's in the I'm trying to remember where he's from. I can't even remember now. I always forget. Could you imagine if they did Joshua Fabia versus Francis Ngannou? That would be hilarious. I don't like freak show fights, but I would pay a good $60 pay-per-view fee to watch that fight. That would be hilarious. But I'm gonna start doing more of these live chats. At least once a week I'm gonna try to do it. I might do a fight watch along this Saturday, but I don't know if anybody's gonna really be interested in that too much. That fight card is ugh. Yeah, I figured it was his name in Arabic, Yusuf, but thank you. I just can't read it. I don't know what it is. I don't know how you would pronounce it. Jin's got that Jamari Koi avatar. I'm not even sure what that is, my friend. I don't even know how to read your name to even say what your name XFTBL ex football player, I guess is what you're trying to say. I just realized that. It looked like a bunch of letters to me at first. It's just wild to me. 729 subscribers so far. But I need to get to 1,000. Yeah, Yusuf, tell me the translation. I'm dying to get to 1,000, not because of anything else, but just that's my goal for the end of June. So I really want to get to 1,000. But now I see it, ex-football player. I realized that at first it looked like a bunch of letters. But 2 months in, I'm almost to 800. The goal is by the end of June, get to 1,000 subscribers. Their channel's growing way faster than I could ever anticipate it, and I really appreciate you guys. Thanks to you guys. CT says, I would pay $60 for Costa versus Cannonier. Well, luckily you don't have to pay any because you're getting it for free. I think it's the main event of a fight night card. That's a very fun fight. A very fun fight. CT, your name used to be Camilla. Why are you changing your name on me? I know. Luckily, if you change that red dot, then I'm not going to know who you are anymore. You keep changing it. I think KF. If you want to get to 1,000, talk about Conor, Colby, or Adesanya. Probably the most polarizing fighters that people either hate or love. Yeah, I know I've talked about this before on some of the live chats that I've done. I'm never going to spam any content unless I feel like it's worth making a video about. Like, I know there's some people, like I've seen it online already. There is some people that have put out 12, 15 videos about Joshua Fabia and Diego Sanchez. Every little tweet that comes out, every Instagram post. Are just posting videos about. I have to feel like it's worth something to make a video on to do it. I can't just pick something out of a hat. I made a video the other day. Conor does not deserve a title shot with the win over Dustin. So, Yusuf, what's the translation of the other guy's name? Let me know. KF79 from Canada says, I'm looking forward to UFC 263. Yeah, I don't know if you were in here earlier. We were talking about UFC 263. It's massive. Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards in a 5-round fight. The amazing rematch of Brandon Moreno versus Davison Figueiredo. Then you have the rematch of Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori. I'm super excited for that rematch. Let's change this title a little bit. Hold on. Let's see. This will be funny. Let me move this microphone. I'm changing the title of this live chat right now. Let's see. That's hilarious. Perez says new here. Are you subscribed, man? If not, you better go subscribe. If you are subscribed already, how long have you been subscribed? I'm curious. Have you been subscribed for a couple days, a week, what? But I appreciate you, man. We're going to do more of these live chats. I expect you to see you in here. I enjoy doing these, and it seems fun. Seems like you guys are enjoying it too. Obviously, I'll keep doing videos like normal, but this is the best way to interact with people as well. Okay, good. When did you subscribe, man? Did you subscribe in the last couple days or what? What was the first video you saw is the real question. I'm always curious. Can't see him in the chat, but I'll translate next time I see it. Okay, I appreciate it. Less than a month. Appreciate you, man. Well, you actually are one of the first subscribers then, because I've only had this channel for 2 months. I opened this channel on April 1st. So you've been here for half the channel's life, almost. Even though it's the main event, I still feel like Vettori versus Adesanya is the most slept-on fight in the card. Also, am I the only one excited for Bilal Muhammad versus Damian Maia? No. I'm excited for that fight. I think it's fun. I'm new here too. Your Colby Gustafson video got me here. Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm glad you liked that video. I thought that in my head. I said, they are very, very similar. Very, very similar career trajectories. The way they lost to the champion and, everyone's high on them from that. I found the Arabic guy in the chat from a previous video, Yusuf. All right, what's his name? I want to know the translation. I changed the title of this live stream to Joshua Fabia versus Francis Ngannou. God, my nose itches every time I get on here and talk for too much. My mustache is tickling my nose. Oh, you found me from the Fabia rant? Dude, I had no idea. I was one of the first people to make a Joshua Fabia Diego Sanchez video. I made it at the end of April. And it was one of my first videos that went pretty big. And then I did a couple updates on it, and people really liked them. So, but I appreciate you being here, Perez. You've been here. You're one of the first 1,000. Hopefully my goal is by the end of the year to be at 10,000 subscribers. I feel bad for Gus. Never got a belt wrapped around his waist. I know, and that DC fight was super close and grueling. I mean, do you guys remember how good that Gustafson versus DC fight was? That fight was so good and so close. Make sure that's plugged in right. Nice. I wonder, is Gus, somebody answer me if you know the answer to this. Is Gus still retired or not? I remember he retired after the Werdum fight. But I don't know if he ever said he was coming back or not. He has come back a couple times. Yusuf says, Joey, am I crazy? Am I crazy for thinking Valentina 5 will beat DJ's record of 11 title defenses, assuming no injuries? I agree with you, especially with the lackluster of the women's flyweight division is not very good. So I think the guy from Kuwait was earlier here in this chat. Let me go look real quick. I found it. Here you go, Yusuf. I found it in the chat. That's what it says, Yusuf. What is it? Can you translate that for me, Yusuf? I put it in the chat. I found it from earlier in the chat. But thank you, Ginge. Appreciate it. Didn't he throw his gloves down in the cage after he lost to Werdum? Or am I imagining that? Muhammad Ham is his name. Well, thanks for the translation, Yusuf. I appreciate it. Whoa. What are your thoughts on the Woodley-Jake Paul fight? Cheetown Rhino. Do me a favor, my friend. Make sure to like the live stream and make sure you subscribe, because I hate talking about the YouTuber boxing freak show, but I'm going to answer this question specifically for you. So help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Give me 15 likes on this video. And I'm going to answer your question. I don't know, man. This stuff, hammed. Okay, hammed. Hamed? Is that how you would say it? Hamed? Let me know if that's how you say it. But everything looks awfully suspicious with these boxing matches, and I don't want to claim anything's rigged, but I don't trust Woodley to get anything done at this point in time. His last 4 performances have been terrible. I could totally see him losing, but I'm not going to purchase it, and I hope nobody in here purchases it either. Well, women's flyweight is the worst division in the UFC. It's just a bunch of failed strawweights. A very, very true ex-football player. But I don't trust Woodley to get anything done at all. And I'm not buying that pay-per-view. So, is anybody in here buying that pay-per-view? Please tell me not. Okay, thank you. By the way, Jins, I realized after the chat the other day that I mispronounced Barbados. I said Barbados. I sounded it out. It's Barbados. I know now. I realized it after the fact. I almost didn't say it there and left you hanging like, what the hell is this guy talking about? So, Muhammad Hamed. Next time he's in here, I'm going to say his name, and he's going to be like, how the hell did he read that Arabic? I don't want to pronounce it wrong. But I realized what it was after the fact. When I read it, I just tried to sound it out and not mess up reading it. And I realized after the fact, I said, wait a second. I know what that is. I'm still not 100% if I'll do it or not. But does anyone want to hang out for a fight companion for Augusto Sakai versus Jairzinho Rosenstrike? I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do it yet. But let me know if you'd hang out this Saturday if I do one for that fight card. I'm genuinely curious if anyone would. CT says nobody's buying that pay-per-view. I hope not, man. I really do. I hope not. Then it just gives them reason to do it again. Yes, I do have Fight Pass. I got Fight Pass, ESPN Plus, and then I got to buy the pay-per-views. So Fight Pass is what, $10 a month? ESPN Plus, I think I pay for $50 a year, or I think it was $70 for the year, but it came with one pay-per-view. And then the pay-per-views are $75 here. All right, I'll probably do it. If you, at least two of you guys will be here. I mean, that fight card is not that great, so I'd rather watch it with somebody. So I'll probably do it. I'll schedule it that day if I'm definitely going to do it. So I'm not 100% sure yet, but you guys seem to like doing those. And I found a way where I can adjust the stream so I can be almost in real time. It's not right. It's not on that setting right now. It's like 15 seconds behind now. But I found a way to be able to do that. I gotta shave my mustache off. It's so itchy. But you only watching the prelims, Florit and Muslim Sakal. So I can't even pronounce his name. I have terrible pronunciation sometimes. But I'll probably do a fight companion for that one. I enjoy doing them. I just wish that card was better. I'm gonna work on tomorrow and Friday. I'm gonna try to work on my prediction videos for UFC 263, and so that way I can release them. I'm gonna release it either Friday, Sunday, or Monday, depending on when I get them done. Does anybody in this chat, let me know right now, this is a very pertinent question. Does anybody watch videos in 4K? Because I release some videos in 4K, and I'm curious if anybody ever actually watches them in 4K. So let me know. But maybe for Saturday, maybe for shits and giggles, I'll do a fight companion for the entire card from prelims all the way to the end. Do like a 5-6 hour fight companion. Or watch along, whatever you want to call it. But I think I'm one of the only MMA YouTubers that has 4K content. And I try to when I started this channel and when I went at it at YouTube, I got one of the best cameras possible. It was over $1,000. 4K 4K resolution. It's the clarity of the video quality. CT, you watch everything in 4K? You know what sucks about doing 4K videos? Is so I do a 4K video. It takes longer to render. Like when you go on the computer and you edit it, after you like cut off the beginnings, the ends, you edit the pictures in, and you render it. It takes way longer to render it, but that's not a big deal. I got a really nice computer that I just recently bought. But when you upload it to YouTube, because I'm not a big channel, they don't prioritize my videos. It takes sometimes 2 days to process the 4K version. So I release it in 1080p a lot of the time because I want to get it out. And then by the time the 4K is even available, it's not, you know what I mean? Nobody's even watching it because they've already watched it or whatever. But I have done a few videos in 4K, and I'm going to try to do all 3 of my prediction videos next week in 4K. If you noticed, I did the Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler in 4K, and I watched that on my OLED TV. I have a 77-inch LG CX, and I watched it, some of my 4K content on there, and it just looks fucking amazing. And the reason I even do videos in 4K is just because I really like, top picture quality. And that's why I've got a lot of comments in the past saying, for your video quality, I expected this to be such a much bigger channel. And I'm just a really, a video quality whore. And I want the best possible video quality. But I know the 1080p looks pretty good as well. Also, I got the nice lighting behind me, so you got a little bit different. I got 2 massive lights right here shining down on me to get the best possible picture. Like, watch, guys. If I turn off these lights right here, right? Watch how bad the picture quality gets. Ready? I'll just turn it off for a second. Look at that. That is insanity right there. Completely way too dark. Way too dark without those lights. Just so dark. So the next thing I want to buy for my channel is I have this microphone. It's a nice microphone, but I really want to buy an SM7B, which is like a $500 microphone, but you have to buy like different interfaces and stuff. And it's basically going to be about $800 to upgrade to this microphone. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to upgrade to the SM7B most likely. That's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna when I hit 1,000, maybe next month or a month after that, maybe I'm gonna upgrade to that. Even though it's like $800, but it's supposed to be the best audio quality possible, and I strive to be the best. That's what I want. And I have not seen and I have not seen another MMA channel in 4K yet. So I'm one of the very few. Joey, do you have a top 5 favorite fighters in the UFC? Definitely. So, Big Rocker Johnson. Hold on, let me get to the Yusuf's question first, and then I'll get to your question. Let me go over some of my all-time favorites, and then I'll try to give you a top 5. So Robbie Lawler was one of my favorites. Still is. Just sucks to see where he's at in his career right now. Anderson Silva was one of my first favorite fighters. Junior Dos Santos, also one of my favorites. Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of my favorites as well. If I had to go top 5 favorites right now, currently top 5, and it's also hard because I have favorite fighters that I like, and then I have like favorite fighters that I like to watch. Like John Jones is like top 3 favorite fighters to watch, but he's not necessarily one of my favorite fighters, if that makes sense. Today, I don't know. I'm not sure how many of you guys follow me on my Twitter, but I posted this today. I bought this autographed Peter Yan picture from his title win over Jose Aldo. So I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there you go. I really love watching Peter Yan fight, and he's becoming one of my top favorite fighters. But if I had to go right now, who is number one? Who is number one top favorite? It would be really hard for me, honestly. I've kind of become a little bit indifferent. One of my so I'll go some of my favorite to watch right now. I love watching John Jones. I'll say maybe he's number 2. Number 1 was Khabib Nurmagomedov. I know there was a lot of people that would shit on him and say Khabib is boring, this and that. But Khabib was one of my favorite fighters to watch. So I'll say Khabib was number 1. I'll say Jones is number 2. Number 3 to watch. I'll go Jose Aldo. Number 4, I'll say Max Holloway. I love watching Max Holloway. Number 5, I'll throw a wild card in there. Jiri Prochazka, number 5. And he's slowly moving up. He's creeping up. He might. I could easily swap him out with number 2. Did I watch Tough? No, I did not watch Tough. I might watch it. How was it? Did you watch it, Big Rocker Johnson? Thank you for joining me, Big Rocker Johnson. Don't forget to like the stream, man. Don't forget to do that for me. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Who are your guys' favorite fighters to watch, or favorite fighters in general right now? I love watching Peter Yan too. I mean, I've talked about him multiple times. He's just such a skilled fighter, and Usman's quickly finding his way up that ladder too. I mean, does anybody want to miss a Usman fight at this point in time? Tony Ferguson used to be one of those too, until now he's just started getting destroyed. Now I don't want to watch him ever because I'm sad. Big Rocker Johnson said, yeah, he said Max Holloway. Dave Lagonis, where you been at, man? You were here sub 20 subscribers. Over 700 now, Dave Lagonis. Can you believe that? And I'm going to say Woodley does not get KO'd in the first round. Joey, is that microphone you're on about a I was saying I want to get an SM7B. I don't have an SM7B. This is like This is like a $50 microphone I bought off Amazon, actually. I want to get an SM7B. That's what I'm talking about, the Shure SM7B. It's supposed to be the best microphone, and I want to get one badly. Maybe when I hit 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, Dave, it's been a minute. Do I have a favorite women's MMA fighter? Let's see. Who would be my favorite women's fighter? I really like Weili Zhang, and I do like Rose as well. Amanda Nunes I love to watch, but it kind of sucks because the competition has been very. Ugh. Dave says it's been a minute. I've been very, very away, lol. But I've been keeping track and watching you explode. Dave, the goal is 1,000 before the end of June. Do you think it's possible? Let me know. Yeah, I would say they're my top. I really like Weili Zhang. I really like Rose. Rose is just so unassuming, and that's what I love about Rose. You know, she seems like she would go out there and get destroyed, but she's not. Valentina Shevchenko is a fun fighter to watch. There's one on eBay right now for $369. The thing is, you also have to buy all this other stuff. So if you want to buy a Shure SM7B, you have to buy a different mount for it. You have to buy an audio interface. And what else? And then you got to buy a cloud lifter as well. A cloud lifter. I've done some research, and you got to buy all that different stuff. So I think when I hit 1,000 subs, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and just spend the $800 and just buy it all new off Amazon. I'll probably just order it right off Amazon. I know a lot of people buy stuff off eBay, and I have bought stuff off eBay in the past, but it always makes me a little paranoid because I have bought stuff off eBay before, something cheaper, and the mail truck said it got delivered, and it never got delivered, but I couldn't get a refund, so I got screwed. Dave says, forget that, 2K by July 1st. If you remember, you said 200 by the end of May, and I said 400, and you did 700 plus. I'm saying 2K by July. All right, so by that record, I'm going to hit more than 2K, Dave. But yeah, when I hit 1,000 subs, I'm gonna try to get that SM7B, and then I'm gonna have the best audio quality. I'm gonna have one of the best video qualities, and I'm gonna be set. I'm gonna try to do the best videos I can, and I want 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That's my goal. What do you think about that goal, Dave? You think I can hit 10,000 by the end of the year? I don't know. I temper my expectations. So for me, my goal is 1,000 by the end of June, but I'm expecting 800 at the end of June. You never know with YouTube. But I am shocked to see where I'm sitting at right now with 700 plus. You know, I think I'm at 729 right now. A little bit stagnated last week or so. Okay, Ginge says 10K by year's end. I'm going to hold you to that, man. I hope I get that. It's going to be crazy. I was, the School of Self-Awareness has around 280 students. I will bring it up at the next meeting. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Leonard, but that sounds hilarious. Tell him to fight Francis Ngannou next. You guys, you know what would get my channel massive? I would love to interview Joshua Fabia and push back on everything he said. I would be so hard on him, it would be hilarious. Some people say I got to try to get interviews with fighters. That's next up. After I get over 1,000, that's my next goal, is to get an interview with a fighter. But 1,000 by the end of June and 10,000 by the end of the year, guys. I'm going to have to start writing down names so I remember who was all here in the very beginning. Because I got to remember, it's going to be hard to remember. I'm going to need Ginge to be my moderator. Ginge and Yusuf are going to be my moderators. Because people's going to be hitting in the live chats saying racial epithets and, you know, talking all this nonsense in the live chat. I'm going to need some moderators by that point. At 10,000 subscribers, there's going to be a lot of craziness in the chat. It's going to be hard to read it all. Right now, it's just like a steady thing of messages. But when it gets, you know, a couple thousand. Yeah, who knows, Dave? He might give me the death punch through Zoom. But Leonard, thanks for joining the live chat, man. I appreciate you. I'm gonna probably do one Saturday. To be honest, Dave, I thought you disappeared. I thought you were gone, or I thought I said something on one of the videos you didn't like, and you said unsub. I thought you disappeared on me. To be honest, you were here at I was at 19 subscribers. Do you remember that? You were here for I think it was Anthony Pettis Clay Collard stream, if I remember correctly. I would interview anyone that I thought was interesting as far as MMA related for my MMA channel. But I don't know. People say, oh, people are getting interviews with less subs than me. But I want to have, I feel like I want to have at least 1,000 when I really get interviews. I would take an interview if I could find one, but it would have to fall into my lap. But I would interview anyone that was relevant to MMA. And Dave, do me a favor if you haven't already, and anybody else in here, make sure to like the live stream. Hopefully some more people find it, and we get some extra subscribers today. Leonard Reed. But it's been fun doing these live streams. And you guys better... I'm going to do a live... You guys said you're going to come for Saturday night, so I'm probably going to do that live stream on Saturday night. Don't leave me here sitting here alone watching Jairzinho Rosenstrike versus Augusto Sakai all by myself. I wonder what the longest live stream I could do. I wonder one day if I could do a 6-hour live stream if I watched the entire card. Of course I remember, and yeah, that's it. It was PFL 1, and there was 2 of us in here. Yeah, dude, it was crazy, and now we got consistently 15, I would say 12 to 20 people in just a live chat with no fights going on, just chatting it up. I've said this in my last live chat, I just want to build a little MMA community. And, I feel like a lot of communities are super toxic and everyone's screaming at each other and saying nasty shit. I just want everyone just talk MMA, have fun. None of that crazy stuff. Thoughts on Shields' debut next week? I don't have too many thoughts on her. I'm curious how she does, but I don't have too many thoughts. I mean, she's a boxer going into the MMA, but it's in Bellator, or is it in PFL? I think it's in PFL. I might be getting confused. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably watch it just out of curiosity. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, Ginge, you've been here for every live chat so far, I'm pretty sure. My kid's been in the hospital. Sorry to hear that. I know you said he's great now, but I'm glad he is. And work's been ridiculous busy, so I've been tied up. But I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here at 2K, 20K, and 50K. That'll be all. Dude, I wonder if I can hit 50K, Dave. One day we're going to be laughing our asses off. Dude, you were here at 20 subs. Dave will be spamming in the chat. I was here at 20 subs. I was here at 20 subs. So will CT. CT was here at 20 subs as well. I think he was the one there that night. If I hit 50K subscribers, I literally might cry because that would be crazy. And this would be so much fun and unexpected. Just kind of doing this as a hobby for fun. But 50,000 subscribers to talk MMA. I would have to start streaming the big pay-per-views probably. At 50K subs, I don't know if the post-fight will just cut it. I have to do live streams for the fights. But I think I can get there. If I can keep up the work, keep pumping out videos on very important, pertinent issues, I'm not going to be one of those people spamming dumb shit. They constantly got to talk about one subject because it's hot. I want to talk about what people care about, what I care about, give my interesting takes on things, and just try to be a big coverage in MMA. Jen said, I even have your live chat playing while I was sleeping. Sometimes I'll listen to YouTube videos while I go to sleep, and I'll fall asleep while they're playing. So if I end up being that for you, Ginge, I appreciate it. I'm curious, I think I said to Ginge or somebody who commented on it, I wonder if anyone will rewatch these live chats. Like I always thought about people just watching them in real time, but I wonder if like this is going on. It says an hour and 41 minutes so far. I wonder if this will be somebody will go back and watch this hour and 41-minute live stream. I'm very curious on that. So if you're rewatching this live stream right now in the future, do me a favor and let me know in the comments because I'm genuinely curious. Somebody if they're watching this in the future, let me know that you're watching it. If you hit Yusuf says if you hit 50K, it's only fair you fly to Africa to watch Ngannou, Izzy, Usman defend their belts. Though without a doubt, I'll go there live. I'm gonna go to a fight live this year, and I'll have to put out some videos of like my experience going to the weigh-ins and stuff like that. I'll take my camera and I'll video it. Jen says I couldn't stay awake on Saturday. Hey man, if you find my voice soothing enough to fall asleep to, I appreciate it all the same. And no matter what, not that it matters to me, but it gives me watch time. Yeah, what's going on, Muhammad? What's going on, Muhammad from Kuwait? But there's a lot of YouTubers I'll just turn on and I'll be listening to their podcast an hour long or so, and then I'll just fall asleep to it. Yeah, very, very true. When I'm recording, I definitely should think about. I'll start doing that, Dave. And also I got to be more on top of it. You know what I mean? No weird pauses or anything like that. Just got to keep the conversation going because people don't want to listen to any pauses. But sometimes I'm maybe tweeting out the link to people to join. Muhammad Hamed, thank you, my friend from Kuwait. What time is it where you're at right now? What time is it in Kuwait? I'm curious. And what are you up to today? Are you having a good day or what? But I never even occurred to me when I started doing these live chats like a week ago that people would potentially watch them after the fact. But yeah, I hope they get people really start enjoying these, interacting and then watch them after the fact and also watch them in real time. Is there something wrong with me that I can't get into Marvin Vettori? He is so boring. He is boring. I cannot care. It's impossible. Now, I don't think there's something wrong with you. I get what you're saying. Also, Marvin Vettori is kind of a strange guy. He seems a little bit crazy. Big Rocker Johnson said, worst UFC pay-per-view you have attended. I've only been to 2 UFC pay-per-views, and both of them were absolutely insanity. I went to UFC 172 with John Jones versus Glover Teixeira as the main event. The card was crazy. We had Max Holloway on the prelims. We had Luke Rockhold, like in his early UFC career. He subbed Tim Bosch. We had Anthony Johnson returning against Phil Davis, putting on a spectacular performance. And then we had Jones versus Glover in the main event. And then I also went to UFC 244, Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. And that entire card was crazy. Gregor Gillespie getting head kicked to hell by Kevin Lee. And then also, what else was on that card? I'm trying to think. Oh, Corey Anderson knocking out Johnny Walker. Then in the main event, we had Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. How much were the tickets? I will tell you right now, Yusuf. Let me see if I still have the email. Ticketmaster. Let's see if I still have the emails. I do still have the emails, believe it or not. The tickets were... Where is it at? It's not showing me. It's not showing me the price. So I bought, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. It was 5 people, right? No, it was 4 people, and the tickets were $2,278. So $2,278 divided by 4 people. It's $570 a ticket. And just in case you think I'm making this up, not that you think I would, here's my exact seats right there. I don't know if that's coming up through or not. Let me see if I can get it to touch the focus. Either way, you can kind of see UFC 244. I also went to Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Alistair Overeem. Oh, hold on. Now it's out of focus. I went to Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Alistair Overeem, which was the main event of the DC fight card. And it was crazy. Let me see if I can cancel this. So, okay, there we go. It was an absolute crazy fight card. If you remember, Rozenstruik got that last second KO. Those tickets were a lot cheaper. Let me see if I can get this autofocus to come back on. Hold on a second. It might cut out for a second. Okay, there we go. It's back to face tracking. It wasn't face tracking. Also, the UFC 244, Yusuf, were very, very close. So they were very good seats. So that's why they were so expensive. And also in Madison Square Garden, it's huge. Let me actually show you real quick, if I can. Oh, by the way, Big Rocker Johnson, I'll get to your question in a second, but you said top 5 UFC entrances. Watching Darren Till come out at UFC 244 was incredible. Look, here's a replay from the big screen. You guys can see that. I don't know. That was Gregor Gillespie getting KO'd, but it looks like it won't come up too well. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna try to do something real quick. I'm gonna email myself the picture of my seats, and I'm gonna try to put it on the screen for you guys, so you guys can see. But yes, very expensive. That's why I only go very infrequently. I'm gonna see if I can pull up this picture real quick. And put it on the screen. So let me see for 1 second if I can put it on the screen for you guys to show you my seats. Let's see. Let's see. Display capture image. Let me see. I just sent this to myself. All right, I'm about to put it on the screen real quick, so you guys can kind of get a feel for it. Let's see if I can fit to screen. All right, it's going to cover me up for a second, but you'll see it. That's my seats for UFC 244. What do you guys think? That was where I was sitting for UFC 244. I'm going to make that go away now. There we go. So you guys could get a look for it. But top 5 entrances, okay? Let's see. Top 5 UFC entrances. So let me talk about worst pay-per-view I've probably ever watched. I know you said attended, but I've only been to 2, and they were both great, so I can't really pick one. What's the worst pay-per-view? Probably UFC 149, when Faber took on Renan Barão. Hector Lombard fought. It was terrible. It was just nothing but terrible fights. No, actually, that's probably not it. You guys remember when Dan Henderson took on Rashad Evans in a main event of a pay-per-view? That was a terrible pay-per-view to watch. And the card was just trash. And there's been a couple like Cyborg pay-per-views where she was the main event, were just terrible cards in general. Luckily, the UFC haven't done that in a while. Yes, first riser, Ginge. Top 5 entrances. I'll say Darren Till's number 1. Coming out to Sweet Caroline, being there live was amazing. I love watching Anderson Silva's walkout. I think DC has a great walkout as well. I love watching him sprint out to the cage. I'm trying to think of any more. So there's 3 of them. Who has another? I like people who have iconic songs. They stick to a song. They pick one song and they stick to it. But yes, first riser. And Jen says, Dave, I feel you about Vittori. Yeah, it's very strange for Vittori. Like, he's very unlikable. Very, very unlikable. I'll also go with I think it's Bagoy Ivanov. He came out to Coming in the Air Tonight. So, In the Air Tonight. Which is a song that gets me pumped. So I'll take his walkout too. He came out at UFC 244 when he fought Derek Lewis. In my opinion, first riser is better seats, better as you see everything. Yes, I would never sit on the floor unless I was first or second row. I'd rather sit on the first riser, and that's where I was at. It's crazy though. I was talking about it before, but then I got sidetracked. I was in DC. Remember when Jairzinho Rosenstrike KO'd Alistair Overeem with 1 second to go in the 5th round? I was there for that. We also had a twister that night in DC. So I've been to 3 UFC cards, and all 3 have been absolutely insanely good. So Izzy walkout, it's nothing that it doesn't get me pumped. I'm trying to think of another walkout that gets me super pumped. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. I named a couple of them that really get me excited. And now, right now, I like Jones's walkout as well, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's all that great. I will say this. You know, you guys heard me bash Conor a lot and talk a lot of shit about Conor McGregor, but his walkout at UFC 189 when he had the live performance, that was a phenomenal walkout. I'll never forget that walkout. It was crazy. And I'll never forget they were showing the live singer. They had the camera angle with the live singer. And then they switched to Conor. And Conor was looking at the screen, and then he made his eyes get real big. And there was something about that fight that made that fight special. I'll remember that walkout forever. And Conor has a good walkout song as well. So I'll say Conor McGregor too, even though I'm a Conor hater. But yeah, I want to go to another event. I'm either going to go this year or next year. I'm going to go to another event. I've really been itching to go to one. I haven't gone to one since 244, which is, well, actually I went, what's crazy is I went to 244, and if you remember, that was in November. So that was November 2019. Then 3 weeks later, I believe it was, is when I went to the Alistair Overeem Rosenstrike. So I went to 2 UFC events within 3 weeks, and then I haven't been in over a year now. Max Holloway does have a decent walkout as well. Let me see. Share, copy link. Who you guys' favorite walkout? I love Darren Till's too. I already mentioned that, but I love Darren Till. Let me see. User says, Joey, are there too many flashing lights at the events? I don't think it's too bad. It's more on the cage than anything. It's not really on you. It's on the cage. So if you're bothered by something like that, it's not too bad. There is a lot of loud music though. But most of the lights that change, it's all directed on the cage, not on you. So if it's something that would give you a headache, you can just not look at the cage. I went to the weigh-ins and the press conference the week of UFC 244. So I saw the Kamaru Usman Colby Covington press conference. I was there for that. BJ Penn walkout. Dan Henderson walkout. I'm trying to think of who else had a legendary walkout. Yeah, it's pretty dark. But also the lights that are changing are mainly on the cage and not really on the crowd too much. A little bit on the crowd, but not too much on the crowd. We are officially at a almost 2 hour live stream right now, guys. Ginge has been here for the entire 2 hours. I got to rock out with my man Ginge. So I appreciate you. Are you an actual Ginge? Like, is your hair color red or not? That's what I want to know. Yeah, Anderson Silva has one of the best walkouts to me. He comes out to DMX. I'm trying to think who else has a great walkout. Who do I love watching walkout? What's crazy? I already said it before, but Connor, that 189 walkout was incredible. Yusuf, have you never been to a UFC event? Who all in this chat has been to a UFC event? Put it in the chat right now and put what event you went to. I know, Ginge, you already said a couple, but real quick, just type out a list of every event you've been to and put it in the chat. Anybody that's been to one. I'm curious what everyone's been to. I have been to, let's see, UFC 172, UFC 244, and UFC in DC. Big Rocker Johnson said, I went to UFC 123, Fight Night Shevchenko versus Home, UFC 203, and 218. This is a very crazy thing that I can do, Big Rocker Johnson, but sometimes I can remember events based off the number without looking them up. Is UFC 218 Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega? If so, that was crazy you were there for that Max Holloway beating. UFC 203 was... I can't remember what UFC 203 was. So UFC 205 was Conor versus Alvarez. So that was in November. So October, September. UFC 203 was in September, but I can't remember what it was. So UFC 203. Stipe versus Alistair. I think you told me that before. You were at the CM Punk debut, right? God, what a catastrophe that was, CM Punk. Okay, Max versus Jose Aldo. Okay, I thought it was Max, but I couldn't remember which one it was. I thought it was maybe Ortega. I've only been to 3. Honestly, I don't love being there in person. I went to UFC 113, Machida versus Shogun 2, which is absolutely electric, amazing then. So Yusuf's never been to one. Neither has Muhammad. And Dave's been to a couple. Yeah, it's fun going to events, but only once in a while. I'm a firm believer in the best view is on TV. You get the best angles. You can really see everything. Then I went to UFC 129 at the Rogers Centers in Toronto with like 50,000 other people. Too big, not fun. Yeah, my guess is you couldn't see very well. 50,000 people? Nah. I bet you were pissed when Woodley's Edwards got canceled. And I think Edwards would have waxed Woodley as well. I really think he would have. I think Edwards would have earned a title shot with that win over Woodley. Because at that time, Woodley had only lost to Usman. UFC Fight Night, McDonald versus Thompson. Sucked badly. I usually remember a lot of fights, especially the main events. I don't remember that fight at all, so it must have been really terrible. What a terrible fight card to be gone to. You know what fight card that really got me I think I've talked about this before. I don't know if I talked about it on live chat or not. But a fight card that really got me as a hardcore MMA fan was Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva 1. The fact that Anderson Silva took that beating for 4.5 rounds and came back and got that triangle choke. Ever since I watched that fight, I was hooked hardcore on MMA. And I think I've ordered every single event since then. Or at least went and saw it out at a restaurant or something. It was 1,000,000 degrees. AC was broken. The crowd was screaming, "We want AC for 2 hours." Nightmare. I was devastated when it got canceled. Lost money on a hotel. About £100, I guess that is. That sucks, man. You gotta get one of those credit cards that got travel insurance that'll pay you back for that type of stuff. They have credit cards like that. Um, what was the most disappointing UFC card that didn't live up? Okay, this is kind of a weird answer, but I already have an answer for this. UFC 2. What was that? That wasn't 249 maybe. Let me look it up. I can't remember now. I don't know why I can't remember. Let's see. UFC 248. And that's a yes and no. And the reason I say that was a yes and no because I had some crazy fights on it. But Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero was the worst shit I've ever seen in my entire life. I was so disappointed. I was so excited for that fight. And for it to just be as terrible as it was, that one hurt. And there's been some ones that hurt. Masvidal Usman won. The main event wasn't that great. But I loved Jose Aldo versus Peter Yan. And also Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski. So I get the main event wasn't all that great. But I really wanted to go to Oliveira versus Chandler. I would have loved to go to that card. But even after the fact, imagine being there. But yeah, that Adesanya Romero fight literally hurt my soul. I was looking forward to that fight so much just for it to be shit. That was one of the worst fights I've ever seen in my life. And I hate it because both of those guys were at fault and then they just kept blaming each other afterwards. Yoel Romero was blaming it on Adesanya. Adesanya was blaming it on Romero. Neither guy did shit. It's both of your faults. So both of you shut the fuck up. UFC 161. Rashad Evans versus Dan Henderson. I actually mentioned that earlier in the chat. I don't know if you were here. That was one of the worst pay-per-view cards ever. Ever. I think there was injuries to that card though. I think that was originally supposed to be something else. So, what a terrible card though. I remember that one being terrible. I remember I didn't have the heart to pay for that one, so I went to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch it. And what a terrible card. Like I wanted to get up and leave badly. Let's see. Best thing about UFC 248 was Weili versus Johanna. Yeah, that fight was incredible. And also Beneil Dariush versus Drakkar Klose was amazing as well. But yeah, UFC 161. I can't remember. Wasn't there injuries to that? Let me look that up real quick. By the way, anybody in here who hasn't liked the stream already, go like the stream. I want to get to 30 likes before we leave here. The UFC 161. I think that was another main event at first. The current. Oh, it was supposed to be Barral versus Wineland. What a terrible, awful, awful, awful card. Everything on the main card went to decision except one. And that was the opening fight. What a terrible card. That was an awful card, UFC 1. I remember that one. Also, UFC, I think it was 149. Faber versus Barral was god awful too. Let me look it up. Yeah, Hector Lombard versus Bosch. Czech Congo versus Sean Jordan. Look up the 149 card. That shit was trash. And Uriah Faber versus Henan Barral in the main event, which wasn't all that bad. But the entire card was terrible. We are 2 hours and 6 minutes into this live stream. So let me know in the chat who is going to be here on Saturday if I do a fight companion. Let me know right now. I want to know how many of you definitely going to be here. Let me know. Try to make it. Big Rocker Johnson said I'll try to make it. Maybe I might just do the entire card. Dave Lagun. How are you even an MMA fan, Dave? If you sleep through every card, you're gonna sleep through 163, 263 as well? Jen says I'm in for Saturday. What? I'm not promising this, but what if I stream from the very first prelim? I do the entire main card like 4 or 5 hours. Are you gonna join me on that, Jen? Because I can't be here by myself streaming the prelims. No one's gonna ever join. Yusuf said I'm only watching the prelims. Let's see. Yeah, I'll at least do the main card, but maybe I'll come in and do every. I want to stream a fight card and do every single fight on the card. Be on here for. I'm like a billion years old now, and I have a baby. I used to be young and hip, and now I'm riding the struggle bus. Dave, where did you say you were from again? I think you said it earlier in the chat, but I can't remember now. But that's funny, man. Billion years old. I'm a billion years old too. So, but I'm still staying up for these cards. On Sundays, I feel like death. Okay, maybe I'll do it for the full card, guys. I'm not promising, but maybe I will. I will schedule it at least like an hour beforehand. It all depends, but I probably will. If you guys are in for it, we're gonna sit here and watch the full card together. Canada. You know what's crazy? You get like watch time from these live streams. I don't really care about that. But like for example, to get monetization, right? Oh, that sucks, man. Before monetization, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, okay? And from my research, most people have trouble getting the 4,000 hours of watch time, and you need that within 12 months to get monetized, okay? If that makes sense. So over the course of 12 months, you need 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers, okay? I already hit, supposedly it's hardest to get the watch time rather than the subscribers. I already have 7.4 thousand hours of watch time. So people are watching my videos. I just don't have the 1,000 subscribers yet. And I'm not really worried about monetization at all. But how crazy is that? I have almost double the amount of watch time you need in 1 year, and I got it in 2 months. It's insane to me. I was just looking at my analytics, and that's just absolutely insane. Let me double check again, just to make sure I'm not crazy. Let's see. Yeah, 7.3 hours of watch time so far. So almost double the amount you need in 1 year. What is people up? What is up with people with the hateful comments for real? YouTube sometimes can be a very cancerous place. People be commenting the most, trying to talk the most shit. Jen said you got it easy. I got to stay up till 6 a.m. Jeez Louise. What time is the main card on Saturday? Let me look that up. Let's see. Oh shit! Oh my god. The prelims start at 4? Is that all the prelims or is there earlier oh my, there's a lot of fights on this card. 4 and then the main card starts at 7? I didn't realize it was that early. I might not be doing the full card. That's insane. So that would be the main card probably isn't going off till 10. That would be 6-hour stream. I don't think I can do 6 hours, guys. So I'll probably be here for the main card. I don't know if I can do 6 hours on that card. But we'll see. We'll see. This chair is super comfortable, so that sucks that you missed Francis versus Jairzinho. It was crazy. He was one of the very few guys calling out Ngannou. Ginge, I don't know how you're going to stay up and watch that card. That's crazy. The early prelims start at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. ESPN. Let me go to UFC.com. I hate the UFC's website now. It takes forever to load with all these graphics and whatnot. It used to be so simple to navigate, and now it's not. It takes forever. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, it starts at 4 o'clock. So the main card has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights. So 6. So it was going to be over 6 hours card. Yeah, the main card starts at 7. So that's probably when I'll do the stream. Because I can't get on here for 6 hours. That would be insane. I'm here for 2 hours and 13 minutes. I want to try to do it one time, but that's just not the card to do it. I want to have some fun while we're on here. What fight are you guys most looking forward to that's announced right now? It has to be announced. It has to be official. What fight are you most looking forward to right now? Yeah, Dustin, you late. We're almost done, man. 2 hours and 13 minutes in. Make sure to like the stream for me while you're here, though. And you can always rewatch it later. Yeah, Ginge. So theoretically, what time is it where you're at right now, Ginge? I'm going to convert the time so I can tell you what time it'll be there. Yeah, it's very early. Very, very early. 4 p.m. here is middle of the day. And that's what time the prelims are starting. So, what fight are you guys most looking forward to that's already announced? If I had to give you one, Santiago. I also mean, it doesn't have to be on this current card. I'm talking about upcoming at all. Any title fight, anything. Yusuf says Tatiana Suarez return fight. Is there anything official yet though? Yusuf, I said official, man. For me, so it's 1 o'clock there. So it's 8 o'clock here. So you're 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. You're 5 hours ahead of me. So when the early prelims start there for you, it'll be 9 o'clock. And then it is 3 hours difference, 10, 11, 12. The main card will start at 12 for you. Yeah, Big Rocker Johnson, Max versus Jair should be incredible. An incredible fight. I'm trying to think, what fight am I most excited for? What fight am I most excited for? It has to be announced. That's the hard part. I feel like there's not a lot of fights announced right now. I know that sounds crazy. I mean, there's not a lot of... I would say probably Max... No. I would say Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw is probably my best fight announcement already. UFC 264 is incredible, though, by the way. I actually might do a video. I've been doing videos since... One of my first videos on the channel was UFC 262 is stacked. And I might do a video, UFC 264 is stacked, and just talk about the fights on the card real quick. Not give any predictions or anything. Chandler versus Justin is not official, Dustin. Wonderboy versus Burns is a great fight. A great, great, great fight. Zombie versus Ige should be fun. There's a lot of fun fights in July in general. In July, you got Dustin versus Connor 2 or 3. You got Wonderboy versus Burns on the same card. You have TJ versus Sandhagen. And then you also have Max versus Jair. which is incredible, really, if you really think about it. Very, very incredible. Yeah, I think Burns versus Wonderboy is a fight that a lot of people are looking forward to. I think that's a lot of people's favorite fight that's really out there right now. And it's crazy because it's non-title. But that's two elite guys, without a doubt. Two elite guys. And the stylistic matchup is very, very fun. You have Burns, who has some decent power, um, and then also is very good, jiu-jitsu guy. And then you have Wonderboy, who's this awkward, um, super great wide stance kickboxer. That should be a lot of fun. Um, Aldo versus Pedro is such an underrated fight. That is a massive fight. I think Pedro Munoz is massively underrated. I did a video on the rankings recently, Johnson. I don't know if you saw it or not, but I talked about how Pedro Munoz was criminally underrated, and I think he needed to be higher in the rankings. Um, that was one of the specific examples I gave. Um, Wilder versus Fury 3. I've never been big on boxing. Maybe I need to get into it more, but I've never. It's too confusing for me to follow. And I think MMA there's so many fights to follow, so many fighters to follow. I really want to get to a point where I watch every single prelim. Like, especially if I have a YouTube channel that has thousands of subscribers, I feel like I need to watch every single fight on every single card. But it's hard. It's time consuming. Sometimes those cards are 7-8 hours long. But I eventually want to get to a point where I can talk about every single fight, every single fighter. I'm not going to pretend. Do you guys notice a lot of MMA channels pretend like like uh like they're excited for fight cards that aren't very good? I will never be doing that. I seen people talking about Jairzinho Rosenstrike versus uh Augusto Sakai. What an amazing fight. Like, come on now. Okay, it's an alright fight. No one is excited for the no one is excited for the Israel fight. I'm excited for the Israel fight. We've talked about that a lot on the stream already, Dustin. Maybe, but also Vettori is very stale to a lot of people. I think a lot of people don't really like Vettori all that much, and they don't give him much of a chance. But I think he may rise to the occasion. I'm probably not going to pick him. I'm going to be working on my prediction videos tomorrow and Friday. But I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for that card. I really like Figueroa versus Moreno rematch. Winner of Pedro versus Aldo should be Rob Font. Somebody tell me this. Answer me this. Am I crazy? Is this a hot take of mine? Jose Aldo is the best bantamweight in the world if he has Max Holloway cardio. I don't think if Aldo had Max Holloway cardio, I don't think anybody beats him at bantamweight, Peter Yan included. Am I crazy? But also Johnson, I think that's a great matchup. I think those two guys together would be awesome. Also, guys, you guys got to do me a favor. Everybody in here. When I end this live stream, I'm counting on you guys to do this. When I end this live stream in a little bit, I need you to go to my Augusto Sakai Jairzinho Rosenstrike video and like it, because I did not feel like making that prediction video, but I made it anyway, and it feels like nobody went and watched it. So when I end this stream, do me that favor. That's my last video on my channel. I need you guys to go like that video. Even if you can do it while on the stream, I'd appreciate it. Because that was a video I didn't want to do, but I didn't want to miss a prediction for a main event. I just really didn't want to. So I went and did it anyway. It's 8 minutes. I did my best. I gave you the best analysis that I could give you. And I just need more people to see it and like it for me. Because a lot of people, I feel like a lot of YouTubers also are, they only cover the big fights. And I try to cover every single fight. So, especially if it's worth, I feel like there's some analysis to be had. And I felt like there was some in that. Pantoja versus Royale should be bananas. That should be a fun fight. Pantoja has looked good. Um, but I don't want to end this stream. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I don't want to end this stream until I get 30 likes. So we might be here for 3 hours, guys. And then I'm going to try to make a video after this. Just bang out a video for your guys' consumption. But Dustin, are you excited for the Are you? I guess you're excited for that Israel Marvin Vettori fight. I just wish it was Whitaker. And you know another reason why I got a feeling that Vettori might win is Whitaker has the worst luck ever, and if Vettori wins, let's say he ekes out a decision, Israel Adesanya is definitely getting a rematch. But good morning from Abu Dhabi, Mr. Joe. Good morning, Mohammed Golid. I think I pronounced that right. We were just talking. I need to get 30 likes on this stream before I end it. I always like to get a nice 30. But I enjoy talking MMA anyway. So we're 2 hours and 23 minutes into this stream. Where have you been, Mohammed? The other Mohammed from Kuwait was in here earlier. Ginge has been here all night. He's probably falling asleep right now to my voice. Ginge, I just imagine you with your phone charging on your bedside table, and your eyes are closed, and you're just listening to the live chat, but you don't feel like grabbing your phone to type out any messages. And you're hearing me talk right now about you, and you're just smirking a little bit while you're laying in bed. Do you think Damian beats Bilal Muhammad? I haven't put a lot of thought in that yet. I think I'll go Bilal Muhammad actually, but I'm not a big believer one way or another. But right now I'm gonna go Bilal Muhammad. But I'll do that. I told you, Ginge. I realized after the fact, it's Barbados. When I read some of this stuff, I tried to sound it out, and I just say it wrong. But it's Barbados. I know what it is. I realized it after the fact. When you're on here live streaming, man, sometimes you look like an idiot. You know how, Ginge, do you realize how hard it is to read stuff and give, great informative answers, like right off the top of your head? Like imagine if I was a fool and I didn't know shit about MMA, but I did research before I did my videos. When I did these live streams, I would look like a total idiot. I sat up in my kitchen rolling. Okay. Did I say Barbados right this time, man? Muhammad said he was sleeping. Yeah, I also think Israel coming off that loss to Yan kind of takes a little bit of shine off of him. I really think it does. I really think it does. But I'm probably not gonna pick him. But I have a weird feeling that Marvin Vettori might win this fight. It's just a sneaking suspicion. And I'm not hedging my bet or anything. Once I nail down my prediction, that's my prediction. But it just seems like the perfect trap fight for Adesanya. He's beaten him before. He looked terrible against Kevin Holland, in my opinion. Not really bad, but you know what I mean? For the way Derek Brunson beat Kevin Holland. And imagine if he comes out and he's able just to take Brunson down. Or not Brunson, take Adesanya down and hold him down. He really has to mix it up. He has to clinch him up, press him against the cage, make him fend off takedowns, wear him out. I'm also curious to see, Adesanya's now moving back to middleweight. I'm curious if that Ngannou pops back up, because it kind of disappeared when he moved up. But I think that was just the weight he put on. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Adesanya is just like Conor when he lost from Diaz. He will come back stronger. That's debatable. Do you think Blachowicz versus Glover stays main event? Um, do you mean like they might put a different fight over top of it, or do I think it might fall out? If you're thinking about a fight on top of it, I don't think so. I think this will be the main event. I actually think the co-main event will be Brian Ortega versus Alexander Volkanovski. It seems like the timing will work out. So the answer to your question is yes. So this is almost 2.5 hour long stream. I can't believe Ginge has been here this entire 2.5 hours hanging out with me. That's crazy, man. Joey, salute, brother. Great channel, fam. Thanks, Scott Free. That's the first time I've seen your name, man. How long have you been subscribed? That's what I want to know. But I appreciate the kind words. I hope you're doing well. And I'm glad you're enjoying the content. I really am. Those two fights on the card would be a snooze fest. Are you talking about Ortega and Volkanovski? I think that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. I really want to see Yuri Prohaska fighting for a belt. I just think he's so much fun to watch. Awesome, Scott. Awesome. Do me a favor and like the stream while you're here. I appreciate you. I'm gonna try to start doing some more of these live streams. So you're coming in on the tail end of it, but I hope you join me in the future, for more of these live streams where we're just talking about all things MMA. Right now we're talking about, Adesanya versus Vittori a little bit. Earlier we were talking about Joshua Fabia fighting Francis Ngannou. Talking about John Jones as well. I cannot wait for Holloway versus Jair. I was actually in bed, right, getting ready to go to sleep, and I saw the news break about Holloway versus Jair, and I was so excited. It gave me a jolt of energy. I came in my office and recorded a video, and that's how the video was born. But my YouTube is broken. MMA Joey is the only channel my laptop can pick up. I don't know if that's a joke or not, but who cares? You got the best MMA channel on your laptop then, my friend. I think I've asked some of you guys this before, but let me know in the chat. What are some of your favorite MMA channels? I'm curious because, there's so many of them. And I'm curious what you guys like. I know some of you guys said The Weasel. There was a couple other I can't remember off the top of my head. But let me know what some of your other favorite MMA channels are. I'm curious. Hopefully one day I will be your favorite MMA channel. That's the goal. Oh, okay. So you saw it first on my channel. Here, let me ask you a question, Scott Free. First off, I was within like 15 minutes of that news breaking. I saw it right away and I jumped out of bed and came and made a video about it because I was so excited. Do you have your notifications on? So Yan versus Glover main event, Brian versus Alex co-main event, and maybe Hamzat versus Neal in the feature bout. Mixed Molly, I really like. Jesse on Fire, I didn't know about him until recently. And he's okay, but I feel like he latches onto something and he sees it does well and he just spams it nonstop. But he seems like an okay channel. I mean, I'm not hating on him or anything. And also, he's more of like the drama of MMA, more than like trying to do prediction for fights. He just talks more about the drama version of MMA. So I'm not too big into that. Mexican martial arts, Jack Slack. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm not too familiar. I know Jack Slack, but I'm not familiar with Mexican martial arts. There's so many YouTube channels in MMA right now. I used to watch a lot of Luke Thomas, but I don't really watch. Right now, I try to make my own MMA content, so I don't even have time to watch anybody else's, to be honest. But I love Mixed Molly Whoppery. He makes some great content, and I love his voice. It's so interesting. James Lynch, he does a lot of fighter interviews, if I'm thinking of the right guy. Facts, he is stuck on the Fabia story. I know. I've seen that, and I talked about that earlier. Some people, and for me personally, I try to make videos that I think are relevant and they're important. I'm not gonna I did a couple Fabia videos, and they were very, very popular. But unless there's some more info, I feel like it's kind of played out. And some people just find a hot topic and they just keep spamming it over and over and over again until it's sucked dry. And I don't like that because sometimes you're just making up shit basically. And I feel like that's what some people do. Um, and I don't like that. I might make one last Diego video, um, just summing up the entire story. Um, your channel is the best. Some other channels are too noisy. Too much stuff going on besides MMA. Yeah. Um, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. And then also, so first off, there's a lot of channels. Here's what and this is just my personal opinion. If you like some of this stuff, that's fine. I don't care. There's too many people when they cover MMA and all they talk about is betting. Then there's people who pick like a couple fighters. If it's really getting them views, that's all they talk about. Similar to what you're talking about, that guy doing the Fabia and Diego story, nonstop. Then there's people who it seems like they're pushing certain fighters just because of the clicks, like, and they don't even look at MMA from an objective standpoint. Like, people were talking about Conor coming off that Cowboy win, like Luke, um, Ariel, all of them acted like Conor should have got a title shot coming off that Cowboy win, which is absolutely preposterous. And they acted like it was normal. And then I hate the MMA channels, and I know you have to talk about this a little bit, but they talk about, oh, well, this has to be the fight because it's going to make so much. No, no. I remember Chael Sonnen was saying that Conor versus Dustin 3 had to be for the belt after Conor just lost. No. Thoughts on Rogan's commentary? I know he's dorky and kind of out of date. I find his politics podcast annoying, but I admit I still love his vibe on big events. So regardless how I feel, one thing I can say that draws me to people as far as MMA content or MMA commentary is their passion of the sport. And if you don't feel like, if you feel like someone's only talking about MMA, covering MMA, commentating on MMA because it's their job, it takes away. And Rogan, no matter what, for all his problems and his faults, that man is passionate about the sport. So I enjoy his commentary, and I know sometimes he says some dumb shit, but I still like him. Jin said, "You're more chilled than the other channels. My new number one." That's what I like to fucking hear, my friend. Number one. My friend Edson, I don't know if he's still in here, from Brazil. He said I'm his favorite American MMA channel, which means a lot. That's crazy to me. Um, that is absolutely crazy to me. I hope. I feel like the reason my channel, at least, I'm biased obviously because it's my channel, but I feel like the reason my channel is good, and it's something that I would personally watch if I wasn't obviously the person doing it, is because I feel like I'm real about what I'm talking about. I don't pretend this or pretend that. I don't try to act like I'm the smartest guy in the room. I like hearing other people's opinions on different topics. I don't insist that I'm right. Some people are almost like pompous when they're talking about MMA. Like, I know everything, you know nothing. I'm so smart and you're not. And I don't like that vibe at all. And I don't try to give off that vibe at all. If I'm confident in something, I'm confident in it, but I like to hear others' opinions, even if it goes against mine. How long do you see Francis versus Lewis going? Could it possibly be a 5-round war? I don't think it'll be a 5-round war. I think someone's getting knocked out this time. I'll say that. I'll say Francis and Ngannou knockout this time. You give honest opinion 100%. Exactly, man. That's what I try to do. Like, just like talking about Rosenstrike versus Sakai, I'm not all that excited about it, But there's other MMA channels you can search right now. They'll act like this is the best card ever coming up Saturday. And this card Saturday is okay. It's all right. I mean, I'm excited to see Ponza and EBO. But the card's a little bit lackluster. So, Chael is a good channel just for the laughs in the comment section. I hate Chael Sonnen's channel. If you like it, that's fine on you. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Everything he says is wrong. So I really can't stand Chael. he was talking about how Charles Oliveira doesn't deserve a title shot and this and that. And he picks certain guys and he's just a dick rider for him. And I can't stand it. So, but he does have a funny comment section. He does have a very funny comment section. I've seen it a couple times. Um, he's always dead wrong, and he thinks he's so smart too. He thinks he knows everything pertaining to MMA, and I swear he knows less than I do. Sometimes I think he. I'm telling you this. This is just my opinion. I think Chael Sonnen's hurting for money somehow. Like, not that he's poor, but that he's in some serious debt. Like he has a house he can't afford or cars he can't afford. Because he'll hold on, my nose is itching again. This mustache is driving me nuts. Um, he'll post a 6-minute video. He'll have an intro, an outro, and he'll have an ad for like 2 minutes in the beginning. And he just pumps out video after video after video. What phone do I have? Can you tell? I have the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Do you think Dustin wins the trilogy? Yes, I think Dustin wins. Joanna versus Weili Zhang should headline the tough finale. I'd love to see those two run it back, but I doubt that happens. Yeah, but he likes to shill, but he's dead wrong every time. So he's not even a good shill. But yeah, he's definitely a shill. I feel some fans quickly forget how good Ponzinibbio is. Who did Ponzinibbio just lose to? And didn't he get KO'd? I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, Ponzinibbio was out for a long time, but he was a great fighter. So I'm excited to see him fight. But anyway, Ginge, what phone do you have? I'm curious what you got. But I think Dustin wins the trilogy. I just think Connor is just so full of shit. And every time he loses, he makes nothing but excuses. And if you can't admit your faults and you're lying to yourself and you're surrounded by yes men, you can't correct them. And I think his power doesn't translate to 155 as much as people think it will. I think Dustin will be able to absorb the early shots. I think Dustin will be able to implement a mixed game plan of clinch, takedown attempts, maybe even get a takedown. Um, if he can do that, Connor will get tired. He'll kick that leg out from underneath of him. Like people have been saying for years, Connor's so heavy on that lead leg. And I think eventually he'll finish him again. Samsung Galaxy A71. Never heard of it, but I'm assuming it's just one of their normal smartphones. I had my last phone before this was the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. But do me a favor, anybody who hasn't liked this stream yet, please go like it. I want to get to 30 likes. And I doubt anybody's going to rewatch this entire stream. Like somebody who's not in here right now, I'm curious if anyone goes back and watches this. But if you do by some chance, do me a favor, comment on the video because there'll be a normal comment section in the future when this video goes up. Or I guess it goes up automatically after I end this. Do me a favor, comment SpongeBob Popsicle. I'm curious if anyone actually watches this later, at a later date. If Connor starts working with Ido Portal again, learns how to touch his bum all the way to the ground again, I think he can win. I'll never forget when Nate Diaz said he's playing touch butt in the park. That was absolutely hysterical. Touch butt in the park. What a classic line. Do you guys remember? I don't really like to talk about press conferences too much, but do you remember the Nate Diaz Connor, the first press conference they had when the fight was announced and they did it in one of those gyms? That was one of the best press conferences I've ever seen in my life. I'm so glad I watched that live. Nate saying that he was on steroids. Connor was saying he's a gazelle with all his gazelle friends. That was an awesome press conference. But yeah, does Connor even use Ido Portal anymore? It's funny because Connor was on top of the world at that time, and everybody thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But yeah, also I did see your comment, Johnson. The leech did knock him out. I do remember now. Um, but yeah, it's funny how time changes. If Connor was losing at that point, everyone would have been questioning him. But since he was winning, nobody had anything bad to say. Nate beat the fuck out of him in that second round of that fight and then subbed him. Imagine if he wouldn't have went for the submission. He would have just brutalized him on the ground. Do you remember when Connor was talking mad shit about Robbie Lawler or Tyron Woodley? He wanted to fight either one of those guys. What a joke! I believe either one of those guys would have destroyed him. But if Connor gets Ido Portal back in his corner, I think he might win. I remember him saying making balloon animals and gang. Yeah, he said making balloon animals with one hand and gang signs with the other. Keep Out said, "What was that, SpongeBob?" I said I was curious if anybody watches this when it's not live. Keep Out, by the way, thanks for tuning in. And anybody who watches the replay, if somebody does, I doubt they do. I wanted to leave that Easter egg in there for them to comment it. What's the deal with Mike Perry? I don't know, man. I think he's mentally disturbed, to be honest. He's done a lot of disturbing stuff. And do me a favor, Keep Out. Make sure to like the stream for me. I'm trying to get to 30 likes before I end this stream. But Mike Perry's just mentally disturbed. Did you see that video where his leg was all cut open and whatnot? The guy is heading down a bad path. Maybe he needs to hook up with Joshua Fabia. I really hope Moreno wins the title. It would be such a feel-good moment. I can imagine the celebration with the Arizona crowd. That would be insanity, but that's a big task. Davison Figueroa, that's a big task to beat him. A very big task. So, I think he's possible to get it done. And I may even pick him. I haven't decided yet. That's why I really want to get my prediction videos done early, but it's hard. First off, I got to decide who I'm picking. Then I got to break down why I'm picking them. And then on top of that, I'm too scared of doing it early because I'm scared the fight might fall out. And then I did it for no reason. But that would be a great feel-good moment. And then we get the trilogy at flyweight as well. Gotcha. Just went out and hit the like button. So you must have tuned in right as I said the SpongeBob thing. That's hilarious, dude. You were probably like, what the fuck is he talking about? Mike Perry would make for a great first interview. Dude, I got to get Mike Perry on the program. That would be insanity. That would be hilarious. I can't wait for Yan versus Sterling too. Are you excited to see Sterling get his ass whooped? But yeah, that first round was incredible. I can't believe how good Yan's grappling is. It's amazing grappling. The way he went out there and ragdoll Sterling, and everyone thought the key to Sterling winning was taking Yan down. I don't see any hope for Sterling winning unless he gets a big KO early when he's pressuring him. Because he had some good pressure early in that fight. That's hilarious, Keep Out. You're like, what the fuck, dude? What's this weirdo talking about right now? I thought this was an MMA channel, and he's talking about SpongeBob popsicles. But yeah, I hate because Sterling's going to be out till November, December, so it's kind of holding up the division. I really want to see Yan versus Sandhagen. Obviously, Sandhagen has to get through T.J. Dillashaw, but that's a fight that I'm really interested in. There's so many great bantamweights right now. The bantamweight, I think, is the best division. If you had Perry on, the views and subs would rock it up. I got to tweet to him and say I want to get him as my first interview. He is fucking hilarious. I've seen him on a couple interviews, and he's one of the funniest guys. Such a bizarre guy, too. But yeah, if I got Mike Perry on for an interview, I had 1,000 subs by the time the video was up for an hour. Maybe I'll go tweet to him tomorrow and say, Mike Perry, you want to be my first interview? Does he have a fight scheduled? Does anybody know if he has a fight scheduled? I can't remember. It's so hard keeping track of all these fights. Sterling is done against Yan. Agreed. Can't stand Dillashaw snaking the ground. Yeah, I hope Sandhagen beats the shit out of Dillashaw. He's a cheater. He's injecting EPO. I hope Sandhagen whoops his ass. But if he beats Sandhagen, he's getting the next title shot, right? So it's kind of a, we're fucked either one way, or if he does somehow pull off the victory, we're going to be fucked. Because I don't want to see him get a title shot. I think he's a cheater. He tried to cheat and go down and kill the flyweight division, and that makes him a piece of shit. TJ Dillashaw is a piece of shit. Maybe he can come back and redeem himself a little bit, but I don't think so. Nope, Kevin Lee wanted to fight. I thought maybe the UFC might have cut Mike Perry. I didn't know if they cut him or not. But yeah, Dillashaw's injecting EPO. And for me, that's the worst of the worst. I think Sterling is hoping that Peter Yan takes another fight and loses. And that way, he doesn't have to fight Yan because he knows Yan has his number. There's no way. And also, I think he's having surgery because imagine if they did a 2-month turnaround. Then there's no way he could improve that much to get that win over Yan. Yeah, John Jones has a checker pass. I don't know why, but for some reason I give Jones a little more leeway, and I don't know why I should be harsher on him. But for Dillashaw, I think it's the fact that EPO you can only inject into your body. So there's no way around it. There's no excuses. And then on top of that, he was going down to kill the flyweight division, which really pisses me off. So he was trying to end the division while he was injecting EPO into his ass. I just hope, I think Jones is so good that I just hope that it was some type of mistake, and I don't know that to be true, but I think that's what it is. I just really want it to be not true. Guys, do me a favor. If you have any friends that like MMA, send them my channel and tell them to go subscribe. If I don't hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of June, I'm literally going to cry, okay? That's my only goal right now. It's 1,000 by the end of June. And if you guys can help me do that, tell your friends to subscribe if they like MMA, and it'll help me out. I feel exactly the same way. Yeah, I'll never forget, dude. I almost felt like crying when Anderson Silva popped. It hurt. It hurt bad. It hurt badly. Like Anderson Silva, basically being a cheater was one of the worst things you could hear. Yeah, Dillashaw, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He injected that into his body. And Scott Free said, I got you. Okay, man. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. I don't think you were here earlier, Scott, but I'm probably going to do a fight companion on Saturday. And if you want to come hang out and watch the fights with me, I'll be doing the fights on Saturday. But yeah, I'm trying to get to 1,000. So if you know anyone that likes it and going to watch the videos, I don't need any fake subs, but if they're going to watch the videos, I want them as a subscriber. Jones has ton of evidence he was juiced, like his testosterone levels being in the toilet. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of stuff. It sucks, man. I think there's a lot more percentage of fighters that cheat than we even know. If Francis beats Lewis, could you see Jones versus Francis headlining in NYC in November? Yeah, yes, possibly. Because that would be a massive fight. Even if Jones was taking anything back in the day, it's not as if anyone else wasn't taking juice. Very true. How? Same live chat here on Saturday. Yeah, it'll be a different video. I'll schedule it, but it'll be like this. It'll be a live video, and I'll be watching the fights. I think I'm going to come on about 7:00. So you'll see it. And also, if you turn on notifications, like if you hit the bell, you'll get a notification on your phone when I go live. But it'll be the same thing as this, a live chat and everything like that. And I'll be watching the fight. So it'll be a little bit different. I won't be talking as much, but it'll be fun. I've done a couple of them in the past. I am definitely staying here till 3 hours. We're gonna hit our first ever 3 hour live stream. Um, but yeah, it sucks. It sucks that some of these guys are, the greatest in the world, and then you find out they're cheating. It just hurts. Scott, what area are you from? Where are you from? Like, what country are you from? Like right now where I'm at, it's about 9 o'clock. I'm just curious. We were talking. Everyone else was talking earlier where they're from. Can you make the next live video in sync? Like, you mean in sync with the fights? There is a setting to make it um uh there's a setting to make the latency less, and I'm going to try to do that for the fights. So, I just subbed as well, 100. Watch many of your videos but forgot to sub. I'm in now. I watched the fight with you as well, 100. Thank you, Keep Out. I appreciate it. Imagine Jones versus Francis, Yan versus Sterling, and Rose versus Carla. What a card in NYC. That would be incredible. Okay, New Jersey, that's pretty cool, man. I'm in Maryland, so not too far. Same time zone. So I think I'm going to be coming on at 7 p.m. on Saturday, but I might come on earlier. I don't know yet. The card starts at 4, but that's so early. I don't think I can do it for 6 hours. This is going to be my longest stream that I've done yet. It's almost 3 hours. My voice is already starting to hurt from talking for so long. But Keep Out, thank you for subscribing. Again, if you have any friends too, send them my channel. Tell them to subscribe. I need to make a... For me, I need to make a 1,000 before the end of June. Yeah, so there's a setting that I can click. The video quality might be a little less, but it's supposed to be more real time, so maybe it won't be the 30 seconds. And I'm going to try that for Saturday. I can't change it. I don't think I can change it. Yeah, you can't change it. You can't change it midstream. So I have to choose it before I go live. But I'll do it on Saturday, and we'll see how close it is. If it's maybe a little bit, maybe it'll only be 5 or 10 seconds. I don't know exactly what it'll be. But the video quality might be a little less good, but hopefully. I am the difference. What's going on, man? I seen that message, and I was still talking about something else. So I'm not responding this late, actually. But what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. Make sure to like the live stream. This is going to be my first ever 3-hour live stream. We've been talking about all different shit all night. And it's good to have you here at the tail end of it. Yep, Keep Out says 9 p.m. here as well. Yep, we started this live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and now it's 9 where I'm at, which is crazy. Talking for this long is harder than it looks. You guys wouldn't even realize. My voice is actually starting to hurt. So I'm going to go to about 3 hours, and then I'm done. I really want to get 30 likes before I go, though. So it's pissing me off. I'm at 27. By the way, Ginge, do me a favor. Send me a message. The second I see it pop up, I'm going to read it and see how far behind. Because sometimes I'm behind reading, behind reading because I'm reading previous comments. So send a message. As soon as it pops up, I'm going to read it aloud as soon as I've seen it. So send me a message right now. He said, damn, I missed the stream. Yeah, you can watch the replay if you want, but it's 3 hours long, so I don't know if you want to or not. Yes, I'm going to stream the fights on Saturday. So come back and join me on Saturday. And I'm going to be on here for another at least 5 minutes because I want to break the 3-hour mark. So I'm the difference. So I am the difference. If you want to join us on Saturday, come join us. Just watch this whole thing on what they go through behind the scenes nuts. What specifically are you talking about, Scott? I must have missed something here. I'm curious, but I'm waiting for Jin's comments so he can find out how far behind him I am as far as my video goes. Boo. I read it within like 1 second. So let me know how far behind. Because sometimes I'm reading the previous comments. So there you go. Now you'll know. I said boo before. And Keep Out. I can't believe you were watching my videos and you weren't even subscribed, man. That hurts. But at least you're subscribed now. for the main card of this Saturday. So I did a prediction video for the main event, but I'm going to tell you on here anyway. I only did the main event because the card isn't that great. I didn't feel like breaking down. I didn't really have a lot to say. So I just really wanted to do the main event. But okay, Jins, 32 seconds. I am going to go with, I'll give you my quick picks for the main card. I'm going with Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I'm probably going to go Marcin Tybura. Roman Daladiz, or however you pronounce it, versus Loreno Starpoli. I'll go. I see, these guys are harder for me to remember. I'll say Starpoli, and then I'm going with Santiago Ponzinibbio. Dusko Todorovic, I'm going to go with him. And then I'll go with Tom Breeze. But I don't know too much about Antonio Arrovo. Some of these names I can't even pronounce. Yeah, the weight cuts are crazy. I forgot, there was one weight cut. I think it was Joanna Jędrzejczyk. There was a video of her, and she was killing herself to get the 115. But yeah, I'm the difference. Who are you picking for the main event at least? I'm curious, who are you picking? And by the way, I am the difference. We've been talking about it tonight, but can you believe I'm almost to 800 subscribers? I'm at 730 subscribers right now. I just checked. How crazy is that? But yeah, the weight cuts, I feel like some fighters cut way too much weight. Isn't it crazy how much shit Jose Aldo got for going down to bantamweight, and he looks phenomenal at bantamweight? I can't believe I'm behind you 32 seconds, Ginge. That's insane. So on Saturday, hopefully I'm only like 5 or 10 seconds because I'm going to do the ultra low latency, which is supposed to be a little bit degradation in quality, but it's supposed to be more real-time interaction rather than 30 seconds behind. But also sometimes I'm just reading the messages behind. I was shocked Cody got outworked by Font. Looked good. Yeah, Font, I wasn't shocked. But I did pick Cody. So I thought Cody was going to win, but I know how good Rob Font was. So it really didn't shock me when he outworked him. But I thought Cody would be faster. I thought he would land a big strike and TKO him or KO him. I picked Rozenstruik by second round TKO. You can go check out my prediction video if you want. Even if you don't watch the whole thing, go watch it and like it for me real quick. Because nobody watched that video. Nobody cares about Rozenstruik versus Sakai. If you comb your mustache, it won't tickle your nose so much. All right, I'm going to do that. I got to get a mustache comb. I try to trim it up. And it seems to work when I trim it up. But when I don't trim it up, talking makes it itch like crazy. And it's so annoying. But thanks for the tip, JDH. Have you been here all night? Or are you just now joining us? Bro, the channel really has grown. I know. It has. It has. It's insane. It's insane, my friend. Keep Out said, I became the 730 sub. I appreciate you, man. We're going to hit 1,000 before the end of June. I can't believe how fast this channel has grown. It's just insanity to me. I opened the channel on April 1st. And it's what? June 2nd. So it's been almost exactly 2 months. And we're at 730 subs. It's kind of a little bit... I don't know. I am the difference. I really don't know. I have no idea. Life's been super busy for him, man. I hope so. But I can't make any promises. My man's been off living life. Yeah, the Fabia videos went crazy. 2 of them did almost 23,000 views. I was talking earlier, to get monetized, you need to get 4,000 hours of watch time. I'm going on 8,000 hours of watch time right now, which is insane. In 2 months, 8,000. You need 4,000 hours in 1 year. I have almost 8,000 in 2 months. So double the amount you need in 1 year. I had it in 2 months. Cody looked hesitant in that fight. Yeah, he also looked very gassed after the first round. What do you think Jeremy Stevens' fate will be after UFC after he pushed the dude at the face-offs? Nothing. I think he already has another fight scheduled. But I think he should be punished. You can't injure a guy like that and then get away with it, you know? You guys are going to fight anyway. That was so unnecessary. I hate that dumb shit. You know, some people get into it, some people don't. So JDH, you said just got here, found your channel when watching the Fabia Chaos too. I hope you subscribe, my friend. I hope you're already subscribed because some people watch the videos and they don't subscribe. Keep Out said he was watching the videos but never subscribed. So make sure you're already subscribed. If not, be subscriber number 731. Pretty soon you guys are going to be sending me super chats. That'll be crazy. First person to send me a super chat, I might have to print it out and frame it and put it in my office. First ever super chat. But yeah, anybody who wants to, on Saturday night, come join me. We'll be watching the fights on here. I'll probably be on here about 7. Yeah, I don't think it. Supposedly Cody had an easy weight cut trying to go down to 1. He did a test cut to flyweight, and it was easy. I'm wondering if he was sick for like 6 months. I'm thinking that had an effect on him. I don't know. It's hard to say for sure. It could have just been Rob Font was that good. I don't know. It's hard to say. I will join. My friend Muhammad will join. I appreciate it. Anybody who hasn't already, liked the stream for me. I literally want to get to 30 likes before I shut this stream off. And we're over 3 hours in. I hope everyone in here already liked it, but at the same time, I hope somebody didn't so they can like it and run it up to 30. But I think Jeremy Stevens has another fight, by the way. Let me look that up real quick for you so I can tell you. Let's see. Yeah, he's fighting Matsu Gamrot on July 17th. So he has another fight scheduled. Do you think Francis and Jones will fight eventually? I believe so. I don't know when, but I believe so. I'm hoping. I was talking about it earlier in the stream before you were here. There's a reason that Derek Lewis fight isn't official yet. And I'm wondering if the UFC is having trouble coming to terms with Derek Lewis. Because Derek Lewis knows he's kind of got the UFC by the balls right now. And that's why it hasn't been scheduled. John Jones has new management. We might get John Jones versus Ngannou in August, my friend. We might get lucky. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I have a feeling it's not going to happen. But I think it's a possibility. Laura Murphy or JoJo, predictions winner will most likely fight Valentina. I'll tell you this, the winner will most likely get murdered by Valentina. I'll go Lauren Murphy. I say Lauren Murphy wins. I'm not high on either one of those girls, though. It's funny how many you said, found a channel during the Fabia chaos. Did you see Diego finally came out today and said, he's not going to say anything bad? Love thy neighbor. I can respect that. You don't want to throw nothing back. Well, also, he probably wants to put the whole situation behind him. He doesn't want to look like an idiot. Is Nick Diaz coming back, you think? And if so, do you think he'll be a contender? Supposedly he's coming back. I think maybe... I don't know. If he gets put with anybody, I think he's going to get worked over. Like, I think everyone pretty much beats him at this point in time. I don't know who he beats at welterweight. I mean, you tell me. I think he loses to Usman. He loses to Covington. I'm looking down the rankings, by the way. He loses to Gilbert Burns. He loses to Leon Edwards. He loses to Wonderboy Thompson. He loses to Vicente Luque. He loses to Michael Chiesa. I think the only fight that's winnable for Nick Diaz right now is Jorge Masvidal, Neil Magny, Damian Maia. Those three. I'd like to see him come back and fight Robbie Lawler. I think that'd be a fun fight. Lovers turn strangers. Nah, it's not like that, man. Ring rust is real. For some guys it is. One day I am the difference. Nick Diaz would be far from a contender, not even top 15. Yeah, I think he could be top 15. It all depends what kind of shape he's in. But I don't think he's going to be a contender at all. I think he would get wrecked by all those guys that I just mentioned. But I am the difference. I would definitely go back to doing the podcast and everything. It just isn't working out right now, so there's nothing I can do. But I want to see Nick versus Robbie Lawler. At least, Steffens, you still get to tune in to MMA Joey. It's the best I can do for you, my friend. It's all I can control. And I hope you've been enjoying the content. I know it's different, but I hope you enjoy the content. Remember when Dominic Cruz came back after injury and he just slept Takeo Mitsugaki and just brutalized him against the cage? Nico Price versus Michelle Pereira is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Very, very true. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I am the difference. It'll return. Exactly. That's why, man. It didn't feel right going on, solo. So that's how the MMA Joey channel was born. I think Colby gets the belt soon. I don't think so. I really think Usman is going to destroy Colby in a rematch. I could be wrong. Colby's a great fighter. But I just think Usman's going to really beat him badly in the rematch. I think it's going to be one of those things where the rematch is different. But those 2-hour podcasts were something different. Them 2 hours podcasts were something. They will always have a special place in my heart for sure. I really think Colby, I respect Colby's skills, but I think he's overrated a bit. Look at his resume. His best win is RDA. Maybe I'm just a hater, but yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things where he works. I think it's going to be one of those things where they rematch and Usman beats him worse the first time. Yeah, Edwards Diaz is happening 1 week from Saturday. I could see someone's. There's a reason Colby versus Usman 2 isn't official yet. And I think if Nate beats Leon or Leon beats Nate really impressively, I think they could get the next title shot and jump over Colby. There's something going on, and there's a reason that fight isn't official right now. Well, it looks like I'm not getting the 30 likes, guys. It's getting late. I'm getting ready to end this live stream. It's been 3 hours and 11 minutes. Everybody make sure to come back on Saturday for the fights. I'm going to do a live stream on Saturday. If you have any last following questions, put them in the chat right now and we'll get to them. If not, this will be the end of it pretty soon. But I appreciate all you guys joining. I am the difference. Keep out, Scott Free, Johnson, um, you know, Muhammad, Yusuf, Jin, who's probably sleeping by now to my voice. Um, yeah, if I was Usman, I would. Especially, and I don't think, and I know a lot of people think Usman's like ducking Colby. Colby's fanboys say that. I really think he genuinely just doesn't like Colby and doesn't want to give him a rematch because there's no easy fight at welterweight right now. Yeah, I think Leon can build a big name. If he gets a masterful performance over Nate, that'll elevate his name. So I could see Colby getting skipped over, especially considering it's not official yet. But yeah, Saturday night, I will schedule it soon so you guys can see it in your feed. If you guys see it like upcoming in your feed, make sure to like it. But I will be back on Saturday night. If anybody's in here right now who hasn't liked this stream yet, go like it. I really wanted to get to 30, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But yeah, I think imagine if Nate somehow pulls off a victory against Leon Edwards. Nate Diaz is getting a title shot, and Usman's going to wreck him. If Nate Diaz beats Leon somehow, Usman's going to be licking his chops. Well, all right, guys. It's been real. It's been real fun, too. I will see you guys Saturday. I don't know. Maybe I'll do an impromptu stream before then. Who knows? But if you see it scheduled in the feed, make sure you like the video for me before I even go live. I need to see that beforehand. A couple of you guys already did it before I got to this video. I had like 5 likes on it before I even got here. So I really do appreciate all you guys. Scott Free, keep out. Big Rocker Johnson, I am the difference. Ginge, keep out. Appreciate all you guys. Good night, and I'll see you guys on Saturday. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. It's been fun hanging out with you guys for the last 3 hours. I'll see you Saturday.